I know Chris Salt's a Hall of Fame coach, and I know most teams like to defer and kick off and get their defense on the field first. But in this situation, when you're playing Nebraska on the biggest stage in college football, or certainly one of them, well, I'd put my offense on the field right now and start to shorten the game, melt the clock, what we talked about in the open, and try to keep that Nebraska offense on the sidelines.
And especially with the kickoff being moved back to the 30, it's a chance to get great field position because of line drive kickoffs. This is Brett Jekyll for the Nevada Wolfpack, and we're underway. Grigsby across the 20 to the 30-yard line. Good return by Courtney Grigsby. Well, this is a much-anticipated debut for number 9, Sam Keller, who not only had to sit out the entire year last year because of transfer rules in the NCAA, but injured his thumb at Arizona State, and that may be the bigger adjustment he has to make.
Yeah, there's a huge knot on his thumb, but I'll tell you, there's a bigger knot right now in his stomach. He's got butterflies, his heart's in his throat. He said he's going to feel like he did when he was playing Pop Warner football.
Well, we see what they do on first down and 10 from the 32-yard line. Harlan Lucky. And he'll get a couple. Well, who better to introduce Nebraska's offense than its all-time winningest head coach, 3-time national champ, Tom Osborne.
Offense is led by Sam Keller. The transfer from Arizona State will be making his first throw for the Cornhuskers today. Up front, the offensive line averages 313 pounds per man, and they'll be leading the way in the running game and also protecting Sam Keller.
Thank you, Coach. J.B. Phillips shifts. Here's Lucky right side. And he's going to be bottled up right in the middle. Eric Clark, one of the first tacklers for the Wolfpack. Wolfpack defense is playing without their top player, Ezra Butler. Let's listen to Nicole Monk.
Up front. Nick First starts for Ezra Butler at linebacker, and the secondary is up to the challenge for stopping Sam Keller. Go, Nevada! Here we go, Cut!
Thank you, Nicole. She's the captain of the Wolfpack cheerleading squad.
Now you're going to see Sam Keller's first pass in Lincoln.
Erickson and Niles Paul are in the ball game, and we've got to delay a game. Penalty called against Nebraska.
Yeah, and that's on Sam Keller. He's got to see the play call.
Delay of game on the offense. Penalty is 5 yards, and it's still third down.
And that's a killer. It'll still be third down, but now it's third down and longer. And that's a situation where the quarterback's got to manage the game. He's got to watch that clock, especially early in this game. You know, we talked about this before the kick, Dan, that first games, the openers, always draw a lot of flags.
Well, there are no preseason games in college football as there is in the NFL, so they're ironing out those kinks with live bullets today. Third and long now for Keller. His first pass is incomplete and almost intercepted. Thrown behind Terrence Nunn and almost picked off.
That is a huge play for Nevada, a huge stop in that series. It's a confidence builder for them. This is a quick strike offense that Nebraska has. I mean, they scored on their first drive 8 times last year in 8 different games and outscored opponents 117-45. So this is a huge stop and a confidence builder for the Wolfpack.
Almost intercepted by Jerome Johnson. Back deep to punt for Nebraska is Dan Titchener. Solid punter, 39.3 yard average. And deep for the pack, a pair of return men. Rosenblum, and a flag comes in late as he crosses the 30-yard line. Alex Rosenblum with the return. We'll see. Check out this penalty, Tim.
An illegal block in the back by number 11 of the return team. The penalty is 10 yards, and it's first down.
So now both teams have created errors, and errors that hurt their team badly. If you can say that in the first couple minutes of the ball game.
Nevada really dives in a bullet. Good stout defense helped out by that penalty. They'll take over inside their 20-yard line. Chris Salt, the former athletic director, former quarterback, 3-time head coach for the Wolfpack, brings a very disciplined offense and football team here into Lincoln, Nebraska this afternoon.
Here comes the pistol.
Graziano's the quarterback, about 4 yards behind the center, Josh Catapano. That's Lippincott. Fake to Lippincott. Graziano on the outside. Her first pass is incomplete, out of bounds.
There is a flag, Dan. And it was thrown behind the line of scrimmage. This might be holding.
Chop block by number 7, the offense. Penalties half the distance to the goal, and it's still first down.
Well, the Wolfpack enter the 2007 season replacing their top passer, rusher, and receiver from last year, and introduce their offensive lineup once again to Cole Monk.
Go Wolfpack! The offense is led by first-year starter at quarterback Nick Graziano. Center Dominic Green is out, and Josh Catapano is ready to go. Let's go, Nevada!
And that's a huge position change for the Pack. Catapano, the junior from Jesuit High School. Coincidentally, Dominic Green, also a graduate of Jesuit High School. Clock running down inside of 5 seconds. And they're going to run out of time. Delay a game. Again, Tim, you talked about penalties. You wanted them. You got them.
It's not that I want them. It's just that they're inevitable in first games, openers. I mean, it's what hurt Michigan today against Appalachian State. It's what's hurting Nevada and really Nebraska here early on in this game.
3 penalties on Chris Alt's team. Not as disciplined as I'm sure he would like, but that's got to be the effect of playing on the road in this type of atmosphere.
Sure, and he told us that his team needed early success. They couldn't afford penalties and no negative plays, and so far he's got 3 of them.
First down rather, and 24-yard line, 24 yards from the 5. Graziano rolling, throwing to the sideline, and that ball this time is complete. And his feet inbounds. Mike McCoy. Nebraska returns 6th starter on defense. Once again, here's head coach Tom Osborne.
On defense, we have a new and talented front 4. Bo Ruud continues a family tradition of Ruuds who've played here at Nebraska. And in the secondary, we have 3 defensive starters returning.
There's the big man in the middle, and Ndamukong Suh. He's right on the nose of center Josh Catapano. 2nd and 9 after that 15-yard gain. Graziano with a beautiful throw outside, complete to Kyle Salmons. First down, Nevada.
Boy, they dragged him all the way across the field, and the guy we were just talking about, Bo Ruud, the linebacker, had dropped back into his hook area. The ball just over his hands. I thought for a moment it was going to be intercepted. Now watch the pass, and if you look to the left, there's 51 just over his hands. 4 comes in. Of course, the safety had a shot at it, and there's no way that Asante doesn't make that pick, at least get a hand on it. He just mistimed his jump.
19 yards on the gain from the strong-armed Nick Graziano, showing beautiful touch that time. Kyle Salmons and Arthur King are at the top of the screen. Again, a fake to Lippincott. Graziano's in trouble trying to go wide. He's going to get around Octavian. No way. The senior from Naples, Florida, Steve Octavian, showing that burst of speed.
Yeah, and there's no way Graziano's going to outrun anybody on Nebraska in that front 7. Octavian and 13 McEwen both have more speed than that. They get there in a hurry. And, you know, it looked for a second like if there was speed, he could have gotten the corner because the containment had broken down. But he just doesn't have the speed to get out there.
So the Cornhuskers come in with their nickel defense, and that means number 1 at the bottom of the screen, Zach Bowman's in the game, coming off of 2 knee operations in the last 2 years. Shovel pass, Lippincott stumbling across the 45, and McEwen wraps him up there.
Number 7, Lippincott, ball carrier.
You know, another thing you see in the openers a lot, especially when you're playing somebody like Nebraska and you're Nevada, is you get those heavy legs. You see guys stumble a lot, which they normally don't do. Lippincott's good feet. He's got pretty good quickness and speed, and he's running the ball that time and just kind of stumbled, or he would have had the first.
Ty Steinkuhler down on the field. They're checking out his right knee right now.
The son of Dean Steinkuhler, the great here at Nebraska.
Junior from right here in Lincoln, attended Southwest High School.
See his size, and he's got great mobility.
And a great motor.
And that's one thing you don't like anytime, whether it's an opener or the last game of the year. You hate to see your star players get hurt, or any player get hurt.
Kevin Dixon will replace him. He's a junior college transfer from Vero Beach, Florida. Huge 3rd down and 2 for the Wolfpack.
Been a nice drive so far once they got the butterflies out and the flags picked up.
Graziano coming to the line of scrimmage. Now relaying the play to Lippincott. In the pistol. The hand to Lippincott, and down he goes. Steve Octavian one more time.
When you ask coaches about Steve Octavian, the first thing they say here in Lincoln is he's a playmaker. Watch him come through untouched. He's got that speed. He's 240 pounds. The guy's battled back from a whole host of injuries since 2005. He was questionable until late in summer ball, and he comes out here, and so far he's been explosive.
Zach Whited is back for Nevada. He'll punt it away to Terrence Nunn, all the way back inside his 15-yard line. Puts a hand down. And now he goes down. Looks like a block in the back there, and there comes the flag. So this is going to back up the Cornhuskers inside the 5-yard line.
An illegal block at the back by number 6 of the return team. He's half the distance to the goal, and it'll be 1st down.
Major Colbert, the guilty party.
And a really nice play by Kevin Grimes on special teams. Not only to make the tackle, but make the tackle after he was pushed in the back.
Now when we come back, we'll see how Sam Keller operates this West Coast offense from deep in his own end of the field. You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC.
I think that guy had his corn shucked.
9:28 to go. First quarter. He's been out in the sun way too long.
Hadn't got enough rain this summer.
It has been hot. I think he left that one out in the sun. 3rd down and 4 for Sam Keller. Dan Erickson and Menelik Holt shift. Now J.B. Phillips to the right side. Here's Lucky. And Lucky's got a 1st down on a brilliant cutback. That's what Maurice Marlon Lucky will give you, is that ability and the vision to cut back over the middle.
Yeah, he was one of the nation's top running back recruits a few years ago. Plus the fact that the average on that offensive line is 313 pounds. There's zone blocking, and he's going against 280-pounders. So there's a big size differential in the blockers. If he's patient, that cutback will be there all day.
20-yard line. 1st and 10. Keller will attempt his 2nd pass, and it's complete on the outside to Lucky. Spin move there, but too many of the Wolfpack. Kevin Porter, number 31, with that stop, the junior from Bakersfield.
All right, Dan, I see what impact you had on this coaching staff here in Nebraska, though. All day yesterday, Dan Fouts, being the quarterback, the Hall of Famer that he is, was lobbying Bill Callahan and Sean Watson, offensive coordinator. Hey, let Keller go. Throw the bomb. Go deep. He hadn't gone past 5 yards yet.
Well, that shows you how much my influence is on college football. Quentin Castile is the tailback, and he gets it. And he gets across the 25-yard line. True freshman, Quentin Castile, the I-back from LaPorta, Texas.
I'm just kidding you, partner. They listen to you, and he's going to go deep here soon. But right now, he's not kidding about pounding the rock, because he knows his advantage at Nebraska is that 313-pound offensive line. Each guy, that's what it averages. And it's going against the defensive line that is very undersized. It averages 280 pounds. So he's taking that size differential right now and just pounding it at Nevada.
And they have depth at running back. This is Cody Glenn in the I-back position this time. 3rd and 5. Keller, a lot of time. Got Peterson, 1st down, Nebraska. It's going to be fun to watch how Keller reins in his big arm and throws very accurately that time in a very intermediate route.
Well, that's a good point. And we'll go all the way back to when Bill Walsh started this offense. The reason he started it, because Virgil Carter, as quarterback with the Bengals, did not have a strong arm, but he was mobile. So he devised this attack to be short, to be quick, to be crisp.
And And what a legacy of quarterbacks Bill Walsh had, not only with the Bengals, but with the 49ers. Here's Keller finding rhythm and finding Nate Swift out to the 40-yard line. Todd Harris, you got more on Mr. Keller.
Well, Dan, after Sam Keller's first ever 3-and-out here in Lincoln, he went to the sideline, got on the phone for 5 minutes. He must have stock in AT&T. He didn't say anything. He just nodded his head. I know. Then he went immediately to his wide receivers like any good quarterback would do. One thing that may be impeding his play is he's wearing 2 of these. Now, this normally has one fold over and you can put plays in there, but the equipment manager told me he had to put 2 more pages in there. He's got 175 plays, not only on this one, but the one on his belt, so they may be feeding him milk before they feed him meat.
A lot of time to throw. There's the bomb. That's Menelik Holt, knocked away at the last minute, and a flag is down. Paul Pratt with the good play, but he was just a hair early.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one again because I didn't think a flag should have been thrown there. I don't want to jump on the official too early here. It's their first game as well. But I do want to tell you the defender needs a shot to go for that football. And I thought they were both going for the football.
Interference on number 3 of the defense.
That is a well-thrown ball. Here comes Holt. Got there early. Good call by the official. Bad call by me. Just trying to side with the defensive guy.
It's early in the season for you too, partner.
Sure.
The thing that Paul Pratt did is he prevented a touchdown. That ball a little bit underthrown for Holt. If it's out in front a little bit more, Holt runs away from the defensive back.
See, the only thing that caused that flag was his left hand. He, too, the right hand was going for the ball, which would have been legit.
8th play of the drive. It started on the 6-yard line of the Big Red. Here's Lucky, and he's got 4 or 5 right up the middle. And they're running right at the heart of this Nevada defense. Matt Hines, the captain, the guy they call Dump Truck, number 57 on that stop.
Yeah, you're not really, when your anchor is only 285 pounds, and I don't mean that derogatorily, but he is a space eater and he is a stump and everything revolves around him, but he's going against big linemen that are quick and mobile.
Terrence Nunn, Nate Swift at the top of the screen. In motion is Phillips. Here's Lucky, patiently trying to find a hole back over the middle. Hey, Todd, that wristband is huge. How many plays did you say it has on it?
Well, no question. This is a visual meeting, so I'll give you another shot at this thing. This is about 5 inches long, and he's got 1 on his wrist and 1 on his belt. And what Jay Terry, the equipment manager, had to do was add additional pages to this. He's got 175 plays. He gets some signal in from the sideline from Joe Gans, but just number. Then he has to refer to this. So when he got that early delay of game penalty, no surprise. It's like flipping through a New York City phone book trying to find the right number.
You didn't need one of those, did you, Dan? You had them all memorized.
Yeah, I had them Velcroed in my forehead.
Quick study.
3rd down and short. Keller, again, a lot of time to throw, and that ball's knocked away. And that was a good play. No, the flag comes in late. Uche and Yanwu will get the flag this time.
Yeah, and that's got Chris all fired up. Now, here's a Hall of Fame coach, doesn't like the call, didn't like the last one. I mean, it was a bang call the last time, and this time it looked like the DB was running through him to get the ball.
So number 17 of the defense. It's a spot foul and an automatic 1st down.
Cooper Castleberry leads our Big 12 officiating crew, and here's a look at it.
Watch 17. It looks like he's going for the ball. Again, there's contact made on the shoulder, but he's trying to get to the football. I don't think that is a pass interference call at all.
Well,
left hand is off of him. He's going for the ball. He's got as much right to that ball as the offensive guy.
Well, and the thing he did, Tim, as you said, is he did not wrap his off arm around the receiver.
That is a bad call, I think.
5 penalties against Nevada, 2 crucial ones on this drive. Keller changing the play clock running way down and almost out. Lucky left side, almost breaks free down at the 20-yard line.
Dan, this offense has 7 returning offensive starters. Now you bring in a guy like Sam Keller, who's got all that experience, albeit at Arizona State. And you've got the makings of something really special here. Now, from the issues with star receiver Maurice Purify to losing Brandon Jackson to the NFL, and Kenny Watson had that TV fall on him, I mean, this is still a talented offense.
Callahan's did a good job with building his depth. No question about that. Here's the draw play to Lucky. And he likes that delayed draw with the fullback leading him up the middle. They'll catch the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series at California tomorrow night at 7 Eastern on ESPN. And next weekend, it's everyone's last chance to make the chase as the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series moves to ABC with the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 from Richmond. That's next Saturday at 7 Eastern on ABC. Lucky picked up the first down with that draw play. Keller with a wide open man. Touchdown, Nebraska. Marlon Lucky.
Totally unaccounted for. Nevada runs that 4-deep shell, but the linebackers and DBs never saw Marlon Lucky slide out of the backfield. Lucky was actually flexed, not in the backfield, and he still wasn't accounted for.
Alice Henry adds the 7-point. 16-yard touchdown pass from Sam Keller to Marlon Lucky. 94-yard drive in 12 plays, and the Huskers are on top.
This presentation of college football brought to you by Best Buy. Get the knowledge to send them off to college right at Best Buy. Dr. Pepper. If a Division 1A school wins today with a final score of 23, go to drpepper.com to win a free Dr. Pepper. And Saturn. With 5 new models and 2 new hybrids. Saturn. Rethink American.
Busy Marlon Lucky on that drive. 7 carries, 34 yards, 2 catches for 18, and that was his first touchdown reception as a Husker, something Sam Keller anticipates will happen a whole lot this season. Chris Wellington is back deep for the Wolfpack, standing at his 5-yard line. Kicking off for the Cornhuskers will be Adi Kunalik. Sends the ball down to the 10-yard line. Wellington hit and knocked back at the 25-yard line.
Dan, let's go back to the touchdown. We'll show you what a great read by Sam Keller. Keller's reading the safeties and the linebackers. What he does, he sees this guy's cheating like he's going to blitz. And all of a sudden, here's Lucky all by himself. Now let this thing roll. Just watch it develop. Here comes your linebacker who blitzes. Nobody picks up Lucky. Keller's all over it. Throws the touchdown pass, and Nebraska's on the board.
First touchdown pass is a Cornhusker for Sam Keller to number 5, Marlon Lucky. Graziano is perfect on the afternoon, 3 for 3 throwing for 43 yards. He's in the pistol offense. Brandon Frager, left side for a couple. Frager will get a lot of carries today along with Lippincott. He's a sophomore out of Pleasant Hill, California. Missed 6 games last year with a bad shoulder, but he gives you that elusiveness that can be very effective in this style of offense. Kyle Salmons and Arthur King split to the top of the screen. Here's Graziano. And the ball's dropped. Arthur King had it right in his chest and couldn't hang on.
Graziano's throwing well. This is a team that is a little bit depleted. I mean, everybody thinks that Jeff Rowe last year, 3-year starter now with the Bengals. They also have Hubbard and Spencer are both gone. But to me, as you look at those numbers, and it's all impressive, but to me, it's Jeff Rowe that is the biggest thing missing. Although Graziano's off to a great start, and he's only a sophomore. He's going to be here a while.
He looks pretty calm, you know. He's putting the ball on the target. 5 defensive backs for the Huskers on 3rd and 6. Straight back, blitz by Octavian. That ball's too high. Give credit to Steve Octavian as he rushed that throw from Graziano.
Not a bad throw, and again, he got it just before Octavian got there. A little bit high, as you said. Murillo made a nice play on it, knocked that thing loose, or that too would have been a catch.
Zach Whited is back, standing on his 15-yard line to punt this ball away back to the Cornhuskers. Courtney Grigsby, beautiful punt, backed up inside his 15, a bobble there. And he runs into his own man, still going, and now down, back inside the 20. Well, tonight, 15th-ranked Tennessee heads west to take on the 12th-ranked California Golden Bears and their star wide receiver, Deshaun Jackson. It's the season premiere of Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Tennessee and Cal tonight, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. College football lives here, and Cal be looking for some revenge.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. Guys talked to us all last season about going down there and getting caught up in that hoopla preseason, and well, they just had it handed to them down there, so they want to get back at Tennessee.
I think field position has dictated some of those play calls by Bill Callahan. Real heavy on the run. 19-yard line they'll start here. And there's a fake to Lucky. Keller with time to throw to Nunn. He's got it. No, he doesn't. Drop the ball. Behind the defense, Terrence Nunn dropped that pass.
Keller couldn't have gone out and taped it to his hands any better. I mean, that ball just floated and was perfectly thrown. And then look at this. I think Terrence just took his eye off it at the last second, or was reading the headlines or something.
You know, I think you're right, Tim. I think he knew he had a touchdown in his hands. He was behind Justin Jackson, the free safety.
Such a quality player. You don't see that very often from Nunn.
2nd down and 10. Lucky left side, and he barely gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Dan, you've got to give Nevada a lot of credit. I mean, they're down here by a touchdown, but special teams, the defense, I mean, they're playing tenaciously and more than holding their own so far.
If I were Nebraska, I would run away from the nose tackle, that man right there. Matt Hines, the guy they call Dump Truck, but he says, okay, we just call him Dump.
Well, they say he's on the verge of being an all-star.
Was a captain last year for the Pack as a junior.
We'll keep an eye on him.
He made the tackle on that one. Now that brings up this 3rd down and 9 for Keller. Again, all day to throw across the middle. He's got his man. Ball knocked loose. Fumble recovered by Nevada. Franz Hardy had the ball over the middle, and the ball was ripped out of there by Jonathan Amaya. Huge turnover for the Pack.
Boy, it really is. And again, it's a well-thrown ball. Just runs that little skinny post. There he is, and the ball is just knocked loose by Onwayu. And boy, that's a big break made by that defense for Nevada.
This might be reviewed, though. That didn't look like he ever had possession of this ball. He bobbles it initially. And the ball gets knocked out. I think that's not going to be a reception and a fumble.
He was definitely bobbing it. You're right. But the defender then gets in the way, because as he pulled it in, didn't he take a step? He'll take a look at this. Every play, by the way, is reviewed.
This is Cooper Castleberry, our referee for today. He'll be talking to John Lewis, our replay official upstairs, along with replay assistant Willie Weisbrook.
Here it is again. This is a view. He's bobbling it. He's bobbling it. All right, now does he pull it in here and take a step? He's making a football move, tries to tuck it away, and then he actually lost it before he got hit, didn't he?
Uche Onwenu is the guy that knocked the ball loose. And Amaya with the recovery.
There's no question he bobbled it here. Then it looks like he pulls it in, makes a football play, and loses it again. Now, they want these replays to be a lot quicker than they have in the past. So they'll review it upstairs, then they'll relay it back downstairs, and we'll move on. Bobbling it, bobbles the ball, now pulls it in and tucks it, and actually tries to cover it, and then has it knocked out.
He saw trouble coming in the number 17, Uche Onwenu. Tried to cover it up.
If they're not misled by this bobble here, and they give him credit for pulling it in here and making a step and trying to make a move.
The ball was not possessed. It's an incomplete.
Incomplete.
It's fourth down.
Sigh of relief from Bill Callahan.
And a bad break for Nevada after terrific defensive play.
I think it's the right call, though.
Well, in a bang-bang play, I'm not so sure, but in a bang-bang play like that where it really could go either way, you give the benefit to the officials on the field, certainly.
Well, Nevada would have had great field position, but they're going to get the ball back anyway. It's going to be 4th down and 9 from the 20-yard line when both teams come back out.
And anyway, for that reason, I was surprised that they overturned it.
If you look at those little yellow lines under the team names on our scoreboard at the top of the screen, that indicates how many timeouts are remaining for each team. So you can see Nebraska with 2 timeouts remaining. Nevada has all 3 of theirs. Titchener is back to punt it away for Nebraska, and this is a beautiful punt. Arthur King drops the ball and knocks it out of bounds. Good hustle by Arthur King, but he's having trouble hanging on to the ball. We saw him drop an easy pass earlier in the game. And this one, he just muffed the punt.
Well, and that is a muff, and the officials now are talking about where it's going to be marked, and it should be marked at the 44. One official was saying back where it was first touched because the ball went forward, but that's a correct rule interpretation there, and they put it on the 44.
.207 to go for the Wolfpack here. Best field position to start a drive for Nevada. Salmons in motion. Graziano will throw, and he throws behind his receiver Arthur King, and another penalty flag is down.
Illegal shift by number 5 of the offense. The penalty is 5 yards, and it's still first down.
Yeah, we're calling this the pistol offense of Chris Ault, Tim. Exactly how do you read it?
Well, you gave the depth, but it is a short shotgun. The power running back principles are adhered to here because you can't see the running back. He is actually hidden behind the quarterback. And because of that, the Nevada pistol, I think, is misunderstood. It is a very potent, deliberate, and efficient offense. It's run-based, and it allows for a nice pass and catch game.
6th penalty against the Wolfpack, and we're just in the first quarter. Here's Lippincott right side. And he spins and pulls tacklers across the 40-yard line. And, you know, I thought that what Corey McCune talked about when we asked him about the difficulty in defending this pistol offense and the tailback hiding behind the quarterback. What did he say?
He said, well, he's not invisible. Come on. But to me, it does make a difference, and I'll tell you why. Because especially in play action, they show run on that offensive line, and so your read is run when it's a play action pass. But it's a, you know, really it's a framework more than it is an offense, because they run 3 wides in a tight, they run 4 wide sets, they run everything out of this.
2nd down and 11. McCune is on the sidelines right now. Fake. Graziano rolls and throws on the run. Complete.
Perfect.
Marco Mitchell.
There's that play action we just talked about. And because they don't show pass, they show run, everybody freezes, and it gives them an extra second to read it. Now watch, here comes the fake. Then it reverses almost like a waggle. Now everybody's a step behind. The play works. Perfectly thrown by Graziano, who, by the way, is having a terrific day. He's 4 for 6, 62 yards.
And his success is coming when he's getting out of the pocket, away from the pass rush of Nebraska. Throws very, very well on the run. Brandon Frager now is the back in the pistol offense. That was a 19-yard completion. Adam Bishop in motion. Here's Frager right up the middle. Good holds. Inside the 35-yard line, all the way to the secondary.
Well, I don't want to get on Corey McCune here, but because he's a tremendous linebacker. But when he said, hey, he's not invisible, and kind of laughed and shrugged it off, I want to tell you, that run play right there had them on their heels, and they pick up a nice gain again. It'll bring up 2nd and short. It's a good, crisp offense with that power running game. And I don't care what you say, it's a tough read for the linebackers.
gain of 7 for Frager. Second and short for Graziano. He's in trouble now and avoids the collision and gets out of bounds.
That was Dillard that chased him out, Dan, and it's fun watching the linebackers at Nebraska because all of them have that speed like a defensive back.
Yeah, Dillard's really a special player. He will play nose tackle in certain situations today.
That's exactly right. When they go to that speed defense, they'll put their linebacker Dillard down on the line, 3 down linemen, all the linebackers they can handle, including DBs.
But how's Ty Steinkühler doing down there, Todd?
Yeah, good question, Dan. What they're telling us is it's injured right knee. He is out. And one thing I've learned in doing this job, when they take away your helmet, you're probably not coming back. That's his situation right now. Ty Steinkühler out is questionable.
3rd and 3. Frager's going to come up about 2 yards shy.
Although Ty may try to play without a helmet. He doesn't need a hat. He just wants his legs solid.
That's big Adamakin Sue from Portland, Oregon. The first Oregonian born and raised to get a scholarship here in Lincoln for the Big Red.
How about that name? N-D-A-N-U-K-O-N-G. Sue, House of Spears.
S-U-H. And I can handle that as we wind down the first quarter here in Lincoln. It'll be 4th down and 1 when we come back. Nebraska leading 7-0 over Nevada. 84,016 here today in Lincoln. They, along with you, are watching ESPN College Football on ABC.
Weiner in New York with this Sports Center Minute powered by Vizio. An emotional return to football at Virginia Tech, where the Hokies gave the home fans reason to smile today. They beat East Carolina 17-7. In Ann Arbor, Michigan, Appalachian State became the first team from the division formerly known as 1AA to beat a ranked team from the Bowl division, knocking out Michigan. They're out of the title hunt before Labor Day, Dan.
I bet that big house is awful quiet after that blocked field goal. You're watching college football, Tim, presented by Best Buy. And this is a huge play here. 4th down and 1 for the Wolfpack. They're going to go for it. Successful 11 out of 21 times last year. Graziano gives right up the middle now. He fakes it out to the outside. First down, Nevada. Alex Rosenblum on the pitch from Graziano. Perfect call, perfect execution.
And we can't talk about Graziano as much as we. I mean, it's unbelievable what this guy's doing. I mean, passing the ball, he's 4 for 6, and the ball handling that time was incredible. Had us all going with the dive man. Then he runs the option, gets it out there in time. Great play. Watch the fake, because this sets it all up. Looks down there, makes the read, reads the linebacker, sees he's got an outside blocker, pitches it outside, and Rosenblum picks up the first and then some.
16 yards on that carry, Tim. Down to the 14-yard line. The Wolfpack threatening here in Lincoln. Frager left side, trying to run around Sue, ain't gonna do it.
Number 24, Brandon.
Run around Sue, good title for a song.
Either that or how do you do? My name is Sue.
You're gonna die.
What speed by the big man at 305 pounds or so, running down little Brandon Frager to 195 pounds.
But to me, the story of this drive is Nick Graziano just doing an outstanding job. He's the #1 guy. He's making his debut, his first ever start. 85,000 people, one of the biggest stages in football television, and he's handling it so well so far.
Bottom of the screen are Arthur King and Kyle Sammons. Frager in the pistol. Fake to Frager. Good block by Frager. Graziano will throw this one away. Yeah, he competed with Colin Kaepernick and wasn't named starting quarterback for the Pack until just recently, last week.
And you know, that may have been his best pass of the game, and I don't mean that facetiously.
No, I understand.
Everybody was covered, he threw it away, and that takes normally an experienced quarterback to see that. His receiver was doubled in the corner of the end zone. He's reading that right now, tries to buy him some extra time to free up, but he's still covered, and so he just throws it away. That is a great play by Graziano.
And when you watch him, Tim, when he's out on the run, he's not in a panic run. He's very much under control. And very smart with that throw. Play clock down inside 5 seconds. 3rd down. Straight back. Arthur King's got it, but he does not have the 1st down. Courtney Grigsby stops him almost immediately after he caught that ball.
No, that play was dead from the get-go. It was a situation where there looked like there was confusion. As you mentioned, the play clock kind of got Graziota's mind off what he was trying to do. He had the receiver picked before it was snapped.
31-yard field goal try now for Brett Jekyll. 20 of 26 on his career. 8 of 11 last year.
Penalty on Nebraska. They jumped.
Nebraska jumps offside.
It's Sue. Critical mistake for Sue.
Well, it still won't bring up a 1st down. Now they're saying Nevada.
And it's still 4th down.
He was drawn offsides, huh?
Even Sue thought it was. He was shaking his head and had his head down.
This is remarkable.
Watch this. Are you kidding me? Look at him. He thinks it's on him. Now there's a conference. The officials are meeting.
Yeah, it's preseason or almost for the officials, it appears as well.
All right. You saw Sue. Watch to see if the center bobs his head, because if in fact he does, well, he's got to look back.
Boy.
He's got to look back.
Yeah, they're marking it off after the conference.
But that was not an unnatural move by Catapano, the center. It was a move that was natural. He looked back, as he always does, to locate him.
So it'll be a 36-yarder now. Out of the hold of Zach Whited. Jekyll. High snap, good hold. Ball drifts through the uprights. Brett Jekyll. Ball might have been tipped, but it was certainly a knuckleball.
Penalty flag on the play.
And another flag down.
Well, there aren't any pictures on the scoreboard, so.
Offside. Number 95 on the defense. Penalty is declined.
So it's good.
Now the Wolfpack are on the board. Good drive by Nick Graziano. Nebraska 7, Nevada 3. You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC. Back in Lincoln, Nebraska, where the Nevada Wolfpack have got on the board. That's 318 straight games they have avoided being shut out, and that's the longest streak in NCAA football.
And you're averaging over 5 yards of play against Nebraska. The Cornhuskers are only averaging 4 yards of play. So, I mean, Nevada more than holding its own here in Lincoln.
And we'll see how the Big Red responds to that good drive by the Wolfpack. Here's Brett Jekyll to kick it off. A high kickoff this time. Taken by Brandenburg. And he gets out to about the 33, 34-yard line. Nice catch by Lance Brandenburg. But now here's today's Aflac trivia question. Who was the last unranked team to beat Nebraska in its home opener?
Huskers take over 1st and 10 from the 32.
Really have to go back a long way to figure that one out, my friend.
It's a good one.
Marlon Lucky is the eye back behind Sam Keller. 4 wide receivers. Now J.B. Phillips shifts to his H-back position. Here's Lucky right side. Fake to Lucky. Keller's going to throw. And a wide open Terrence Nunn. 45, 50, and knocked out of bounds. Uche Anyanwu got him just out of bounds, or he might have been gone. 24 yards on 1st down for Keller.
Dan, watch this. The assist has to go to the umpire. Here comes the play. That's Terrence Nunn running across. This is Nunn right here. Now stop it, and look at this. He runs right into the umpire. There's no defender around. Whoop, get out of my way. Keller waits for him to clear. Wide open in the flats. Safety's late coming over, and here you go, baby.
That would have been embarrassing if the umpire knocked Nunn down on that play. He was so wide open. Here's Keller to throw again. This one's the bomb to Nunn. Out of bounds, incomplete.
I guess they're saying, hey, Sam, the butterflies are out. Let's get that arm loose.
Yeah, good field position. You've just heard him with a big pass play. Not bad to go back and see if you can put 6 on the board in a big hurry. Bill Callahan calls all the plays with assistance from Sean Watson, the offensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator for the Huskers this year, up in the box. Here's Lucky, and he gets knocked down quickly by Jerome Johnson.
Let's take a look at the X Factor presented by Citi, because it has to be this guy. We talked about Sam Keller being the X Factor. Here's another one right here. And this is your guy, Terrence Nunn. 102 receptions, second in school history. You see the yardage and the touchdowns. He has a chance now to pass Johnny Rodgers for career receptions, but Johnny's way ahead in touchdowns with 25.
Watching Nunn and Keller in practice on Thursday, it was a lot of fun to see the timing between the two. Keller loves the speed of Nunn. And speaking of speed, he's got to hurry now because the play clock running down. Almost all the way out for Keller. Going to throw again, and again, wide open. That's Lucky. Cuts back inside the 30. First down, Big Red.
Well, it's an umbrella defense. They're playing the 4 deep shell, and they're trying to keep all the receivers in front of them. What's happening is, with the drop, Nebraska's just throwing underneath. This time they just dragged Lucky, and again, nobody picks him up. Here's Lucky now in the backfield on the left side. Now watch, he just slides through the line, drifts to the right. Nobody picks him up on time, and they pick up the yardage, move the chains, and have the first.
A lot of shifting on this first down play. Oh, the pass protection's awesome. Ball knocked away from Nate Swift.
You could hear that hit up here.
That's Mike Samples.
We hope
down.
Samples is okay.
Going to be a little woozy after that big hit.
Well, it was 2 Nevada guys. Watch Samples, watch Maya, I think it was, because the receiver goes down between him and the 2 Nevada players hit. Well, Samples is up number 9, but he's feeling every bit of it. That'll loosen your feelings and not make mom happy.
Incomplete pass. Brings up this second down and 10. Here's Castile. Castile lowering his shoulder. And he's got a big shoulder to lower. 255-pound, 18-year-old true freshman. Tackled by Joshua Maga.
Yeah, he's the hammer guy. I mean, Lucky is an inside-outside guy with good feet. He's only 210 pounds. Then you bring in the big Q, and the coaches love Quentin Castile. He's 258 pounds, they told us yesterday. He's listed at 245, but they say, oh, no, he's almost 260. And he was asked about his goals earlier this year. He's a very confident guy. He says, oh, I want to get 1,000 yards.
They got him down even to 235 on the graphic. He's gaining weight as we talk.
Big meal last night.
They're down in 4 for the Big Red. That's Peterson in motion. We got a flag, delay a game. You know, I think that Keller's having trouble with this West Coast offense.
Penalty's 5 yards, and it's still 3rd down.
All the words involved in the play call can be a real problem for a quarterback making his first start in this type of offense.
That's a good point. You were saying yesterday, what, San Diego, you guys had numbers, and these guys do it with words and verbiage. It is wordy.
And it can be a problem when they have to shift. You can see he's being told that, okay, let's run number 25, and then he's got to read on his play sheet there on his wrist which play number 25 is, and then give it to his teammates. And then they shift, and they go in motion, all trying to confuse the defense as the play clock's running down again. All the way to 1 second for Keller. That ball's almost intercepted. It is.
Look out.
Jonathan Amaya. See ya later, Jonathan. Touchdown, Nevada. No flags. Memorial Stadium is so quiet after that 80-yard interception return for a touchdown. Second career interception for Amaya, and that one was huge. Jekyll will come in to add the 10th point for the Wolfpack. And we've got, guess what, another flag, but this is going to be offsides against Nebraska. The point will stay, and
offsides, number 97 of the defense. Penalties declined. Points good.
Sam Keller with his first interception as a Cornhusker. Ball knocked away by Jerome Johnson, and Amaya takes it to the house.
This presentation of college football brought to you by Lincoln, Reach Higher, Aflac, Ask About It at Work, and DLP HD TV. DLP is the official ESPN on ABC HD telecast sponsor of college football.
This is one of the 4 original gates from 1892 between Memorial Stadium and the Coliseum. Now, legend has it that these 24 columns will collapse if a female leaves campus without ever having been kissed.
Okay.
Well, they're standing very strong right now.
Look at me for.
You know, I just get a feeling that Keller's not comfortable. You know, he's up against the play clock on almost every play, Tim, and he's not back in the pocket as smooth. He really stared down that receiver that time.
Never looked off. That's exactly right. And they're running that shell. They sat and waited for him. He had to throw over the linebacker and under the safety. Johnson tipped it. Maya took it to the house.
I wonder if Johnson would have scored. You know, he might have got caught from behind, but it turned out lucky for the Wolfpack that Amaya, with his speed, could take it to the house. Andre Jones, Courtney Grigsby are deep for this high kickoff from Jekyll. 18-yard line. This is Grigsby. He's got a hole. 40. Midfield. 45, 40. Big return by Courtney Grigsby. Paul Pratt had him pinned on the sidelines waiting for help.
Starting to see big plays back-to-back here. Things starting to loosen up, open up. Take another look at the Nevada touchdown. This is what Dan's talking about. Takes every second of that play clock. Now, all of a sudden, if you look at him, he's just staring down the receivers. He knows where he's going right here. So they read it. Jerome Johnson tips it. Here comes Amaya. They were in a perfect zone, under, over, and see you later. He stared him down. He was rushing, as Dan said, through into coverage. And with the tip drill, it's a touchdown.
42-yard kickoff return. Here's Lucky. And he gets knocked backwards. Joshua Maga from his middle linebacker spot, and Matt Hines with that tackle. There's Captain Maga. He's a junior from Churchill County High School in Falkland, Nevada. Here's Lucky right up the middle, and that offensive line just pushed back the Wolfpack. First down, Nebraska.
Hey, Dan, while Nebraska starts to drive here after that big return, how about this? Your Oregon Ducks out to an early lead, 14-0. Georgia Tech leads Notre Dame by a touchdown. West Virginia over Western Michigan, 14-6. All early in these games, and a game I know that you're following, UCLA, 7-0 over Stanford early.
That's a Pac-10 opener for both those teams. First down, here's the big cue. Quentin Castile spinning inside the 25-yard line. Todd Harris.
Well, Dan, I'll tell you what, not since 3 hours ago when we got to the stadium early has it been this quiet. It is absolutely peaceful here on the field here at the Memorial Stadium. I can talk to people next to me, my cameraman. It's nice and quiet. The band's playing. It's very reserved. And Chris Alto did gather together his offense moments ago. He said, listen, we can play with them. One team, one effort. That's all I expect from you guys. And the Wolfpack, the sideline, the bench, more fired up than the entire stadium here of 84,000.
No question about that. Second down and 5. Here's the big cue. Castile, first down, Nebraska. As they're just lowering their shoulders and going right at the pack now.
You know, Chris Alt was telling us he wants every guy to have 1/11th of the success. That means every single guy individually on the 11 on the field has to take care of his assignments. Right here, the offensive line just dominating play, pushing back Nevada emphatically with a lot of strength and a lot of size.
Matt Hines is out of the game with an apparent injury for Nevada. Here's Castile. And that's the 5th play of this drive, all running plays for Bill Callahan. If the Pack loses Matt Hines, they lose their captain and their best player, with Ezra Butler serving that suspension.
Well, Ezra Butler, the star of this defense and a pro prospect, preseason WAC Defensive Player of the Year. This is what you lose when he's out. And when you do, I said early on, it's like going bear hunting with a stick. Well, really, seriously, now they can feel the loss.
3 tight ends for the Cornhuskers. Lucky inside the 10, down to the 5-yard line. Another running play, an attitude play for Big Red.
What happens when you lose your tone setter and then you got Matt Hines, the dump truck, out of there? Now everybody else has to take it to another level. They can't horse around. They've got to do more than they normally do. Ice, you get down here inside the red zone into the 6. You got to do more than 1/11.
8-yard gain that time for Lucky. Thomas Flynn has replaced Matt Hines at nose tackle. He's a sophomore from Glendale, Arizona. 3rd down and 2. Lucky hesitates and gets close to that 1st down. Real close to that 1st down.
I think he's got it, Dan, but better defensive stand there by Nevada, but they do give up the first and goal now for Nebraska.
Jeremy Engstrom, senior, with the tackle that time. Good eagle eyes, Tim. It is a 1st down for Nebraska. We'll mark it on the 3-yard line. Since the interception, Keller has not thrown a pass. 3 tight ends. Lucky, right side. Down to the 1. Down inside the 1. Just short of the end zone.
Boy, they're picking on that right side, and they found something they like. Thomas Finn is in there. I don't think he's used to being in that spot down there. Hines is out, as you said.
You know, they just put him back in.
Here he is.
Yep. Big number 57.
They need him.
Again, next to Mundre Clifton. Thomas Lawson's a fullback in front of Lucky in the I-back. Lucky, touchdown, Nebraska.
How about those 9 plays? That was emphatic after a big return.
9 plays, 9 runs for Callahan's Big Red. 2nd touchdown of the day for Marlon Lucky. Alex Henry will come on, the redshirt freshman from Omaha. And he puts the extra point through. Nebraska answers the interception for a touchdown by Nevada, and they lead by 4. You're watching college football presented by Best Buy. Key play on that drive was set up by Courtney Grigsby with that 42-yard kickoff return, and then 9 straight runs for Nebraska. Taking off 4 minutes, 13 seconds. Lucky getting in the end zone from 1 yard out. Adi Kunalik has it teed up at the 30-yard line. He sends a line drive, booming kick out of the back of the end zone. Time now to check in New York for an update.
All right, Dan, time for a Taco Bell update on West Virginia. Western Michigan in Morgantown this afternoon. That's Pat White, and Pat White gets away from a couple of tackles. It goes 38 yards. He and Steve Slayton have each got a little bigger. Apparently, they have not lost their speed. And West Virginia out and running 21-6. Notre Dame went with Demetrius Jones at quarterback. He's fumbled a couple of times, and Georgia Tech leads 9-0.
Tim, I know you like that West Virginia ball club.
Yeah, I really do. I think they're going all the way to the national title. I like their schedule. I like their team. As long as Those two superstars, Right Stanton, stay healthy. They're all right.
Just to beat a quarterback like that. Play clock running down now on the Wolfpack. Graziano to Lippincott. And he gets absolutely nothing as he gets to the 20-yard line. Well, you don't think there was some exercise coaches on the sidelines after that interception returned by Amaya?
Yeah, and there's some whooping going on now by Nebraska. This defense is starting to feel its oats, starting to talk a little bit to the Nevada players. I heard the crowd come back to life, and I think it's fired up the players. There's McEwen right there. He's the guy that told us yesterday he loves to talk smack. He loves to talk to these guys. Help them up after you hit them.
No gain for Lippincott. And now Graziano, with the play clock running down, will call a timeout. Well, here's the answer for today's Aflac trivia question, Tim. Earlier we asked you, who was the last unranked team to beat Nebraska in its home opener? The answer is 30 years ago, 1977, the Cougs from Washington State beat Nebraska 19-10. Nebraska was ranked 15th at the time.
Yeah, but the bottom line is they don't lose many out-of-conference games anyway.
Here's Jack Thompson hitting Brian Kelly for 2 touchdowns en route to that 9-point win for the fellas from the Palouse. Jack Thompson, the throwing Samoan. Boy, was he a good one. One of many that have played for Washington State. We're in Lincoln, University of Nebraska on top, 14-10, 5:54 to go, first half. Going to start the play clock, restart the play clock. Cooper Castleberry, our official. That's what he'll do with that right arm movement right there. Second and 10 for the Pack. Graziano. Lippincott was moving before the ball was snapped.
Boy, they're all out of sync now. Nevada crowd has given them problems. The players aren't concentrating. They've lost their focus.
By the left tackle of the offense. Only 5 yards. Still second down.
The amazing thing, Tim, is Chris Alt's team last year committed 55 penalties all season. Today, 8. We're still in the first half.
Well, it's a young football team. You know, 66 guys on this roster are freshmen, redshirt freshmen, or sophomores. You know what that means? Penalties.
And mistakes. And you know, Tim, at halftime, I'm sure that Alt's just going to go in and say, hey, guys, settle down. We're doing okay. We're only down by 4. Backed up now to the 15-yard line. Pressure. Intercepted and dropped. Larry Asante had 6 in his hands.
Man coverage came with a blitz. Graziano had to rush the whole thing. And it was thrown behind. Asante, number 4, was there. Should have had the pick. The only thing that saved that play was he threw a dead duck. It was hard to catch. The thing wobbled out there, and Asante dropped it.
Pressure by Clayton Severs right in the face. A big hit on the quarterback caused that duck. 3rd and 15. Nebraska rushes 5. Graziano's got to throw it away to the outside. Kyle Salmons looks like he dropped that pass. A case of nerves for the Pack right now.
They came with a safety blitz that time from the backside and chased Graziano again. He had to throw before he was ready.
Unable to convert on 3rd down. 0 for 5 now. Here's that pressure.
There's Green, the safety now, coming from the right side. They chase him out of there. Again, he had to throw before he was ready and threw a dead duck, which was hard to catch.
Zach Whited will punt this away to Courtney Grigsby. And it's a short punt. Grigsby says, get away from it. Ball rolls into Nebraska territory. 39 yards on that punt. Well, later tonight, ESPN and ESPN2 team up to bring you two Big 12 teams facing ranked SEC teams on the road. First at 6:45 Eastern on ESPN2, high-scoring Oklahoma State challenges the Georgia Bulldogs. Then at 7:45 Eastern on ESPN, it's Kansas State and Auburn. College football primetime on ESPN2 and college football primetime presented by Hampton on ESPN. Here's Lucky right side. Big hole across midfield. To the outside, down inside the 35-yard line. Marlon Lucky finally stopped by Adam Lozano. 22 yards.
And that's 18 carries for Lucky. So, I mean, he's carrying the load. Here's number 5. And look at this thing. Are you kidding me? The hole opened up and you had this whole running lane here. There's nobody home. It looks at that point like he's going to take it to the house, but none didn't throw a block.
Here's Lucky, that right side again. He's really hitting that hole hard now. Great confidence by Lucky behind that big offensive line. Murtha and Huff.
Hey, Dan, you were talking about Keller not being in sync and how he was always trying to catch up. Let's watch it now. He's looking over the sidelines. He gets the play. Now he'll come in. He'll go to his wrist. He'll call it. They gave him, as you said, the number, like number 57. He goes down to the wrist and sees it. Zebra. Why go? Instead it's a rush.
This is Castile inside the 20-yard line. You know, one thing, Tim, is that the less number of words used in the huddle generally indicates a running play. You saw how quickly he came to the huddle, called the play, and then ran it. And it was a running play.
Great point. And those are little things you can watch if you're a defensive player. You try to pick any kind of tip you can. You're always looking for tips really with the first step, but that's something you can read too. How fast he's in and out.
Here's Castile right side. Down to the 15-yard line. And they are just taking the air out of the ball for Sam Keller.
44,
all right, there's Callahan, Bill Callahan, the head coach. He calls the plays. Now we come back, get them all in the huddle. Go right to that wristband.
They've run the ball 13 straight times.
So if I'm on defense, going by your calculations, this is a run play. He didn't even go to the wristband.
Bingo. Castile bouncing to the outside, spinning, first down, Nebraska, out of bounds. Oh, he's showing you the whole package. It's a big package, too, at 255. Engstrom pushed him out inside the 10.
Well, we picked it up. If we were playing defense, we knew it was a run game. And if it's a run game, it's going to the I-back. The I-back's always been famous here at this school, even with the West Coast offense. And this young freshman, Quentin Castile's going to be great. Glenn comes in. You got a couple freshmen behind them, and Lucky's been carrying the load.
Thomas Lawson in front of Castile. Keller will throw, and he'll throw it out of the back of the end zone. In fact, he hit the upright. Pressure in his face from Jay Dixon. Defensive end, senior from San Clemente.
Little play action. That's just a missed block up front. Jay Dixon is a senior. He's 270 pounds. No way he should come free like that.
And I'm sure Keller will let the guy know who missed the block. Here's Castile inside the 5, spinning, reaching, just short of the end zone. Jonathan Amaya kept him out of the end zone along with Justin Jackson.
Watch that left side, zone blocking. Everybody goes down left, a little patience, find your hole and explode through it. You know, we were all laughing when young Castile was asked about his goals, and he said, well, this year I want to go over 1,000 yards, and everybody just kind of poo-pooed it. He looks like he can get it.
Back is Castile, 3rd and goal. Castile's got it, left side, and he stopped short of the end zone. Nick Furr, Jonathan Amaya on the stop, and again Jay Dixon at the bottom of the pile.
And crowd's yelling go, and it looks like they're going to in 4th and just about a foot to the goal line.
All right, with quarterback sneaking, with a big strong quarterback like Keller, goes 230. He gives it to Castile, and Castile gets in the end zone. Touchdown, Cornhuskers.
Parker, you're right about Keller being 230, but now you're bringing Castillo, who they say is 258. And look out. This guy knows the difference between come here and sick 'em.
Alex Henry with the extra point. 54-yard drive, 9 plays, 3:08 off the clock, and the first collegiate touchdown for Quentin Castile. 21-10's our score. 2 minutes, 22 seconds left to go in the first half. Coming up on the Cooper Tires halftime report, John, Craig, and Doug will have highlights from many of the nation's top teams, including the emotional day in Blacksburg for the Virginia Tech Hokies. Plus, a preview of tonight's primetime matchup between the Vols and the Bears. Tennessee and Cal from Berkeley. Addy Kunalik will try to put this one out of the back of the end zone, as he just did. This is Chris Wellington backing up, and there it goes out of the back of the end zone. What a leg this young man has. That's over 70, 80 yards almost.
You know, if you look at the losses that Nebraska had last year, it was USC, Texas, Oklahoma, and Auburn. And in the Texas game and the Auburn game, they had a chance late in the game to go for a field goal that would have been long, but it was like 4th and 11 against Auburn, and they didn't do it because they didn't have a kicker that could go more than 44 yards. I think Addy could go ahead and kick that thing 60 yards. He's kicked 60-yard field goals in practice. They now have that strong leg.
St. Louis is seeing a heck of a game between Missouri and Illinois. 13-6 into the second quarter. Frager is behind Graziano, and he's got it, and the Huskers have got him.
Ball carried by number 44, Brandon Frager.
Dan, Nevada's trying to dispel the perception that the pistol is a passing offense, and they've been trying to run. But to be honest with you, they only have 28 yards rushing and 61 passing, and now time's a factor here in the half. You don't want the floodgates to open and give this thing away, but you do want to get that 2-minute offense going, try to get this thing down to field goal range, or at least get some kind of points on the scoreboard.
And you can see by those little yellow lines under the name Nevada, those are the 2 timeouts that the Pack have left here in the first half. 2nd and 10. Graziano down the sidelines. They're going to throw a flag there on Armando Murillo.
Graziano's pass intended for number 89, Mike McCoy.
Earlier we talked about this offense. The pistol really be just in a framework of an offense.
That's interference. Number 5 of the defense. It's a spot foul and an automatic first down.
They get a break there because they were thrown into coverage, and there's all the contact before the ball ever got there. You see number 5 just pushing and shoving it. So Murillo gets tagged with the flag. But what I was going to say is they can go out of this offense. They can go 3-4 wides, which they did that time, and spread the field.
Mike McCoy, the intended receiver. Murillo had great coverage. He had really no reason to mug the receiver as he did.
But he never turned to find the ball until he had already made contact.
First down, Pack. Graziano gives to Frager, and one more time the defensive line now just taking control of that line of scrimmage.
I thought it was very interesting yesterday when we were talking to Kevin Cosgrove, the Nebraska defensive coordinator, and he said the pistol fails on first down 70% of the time, which means it's 3 yards or less on first down.
And Nebraska knows that. They've used their second timeout here in the first half.
Well, there's Kevin. He does know it, and he loads them up front to get that.
Talking to the emotional leader for the Cornhuskers, Corey McCune. Cosgrove does a great job of studying offenses and really simplifying things for the linebackers as far as their reads are concerned.
He's got his own play on his wrist. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Everybody's been watching Sam Keller. Sam Keller came out, throwing the ball around. It's just 6 of 13, but this was a good one right here for the touchdown. Throwing Johnson to a Maya for the touchdown the other way. Castillo, the big old strong running back, teaming up with Lucky, who carried the ball a load here today. Lucky 19 carries, almost 100 yards. And then Castillo, the freshman, who's just 17 with the touchdown.
Loss of 1 on the play. Graziano, time to throw. Now he steps up, and now he goes down as he gets out to the 35-yard line. Barry Turner takes him down there. And Nebraska will use their last timeout. This is Bo Root, slow getting up here. Now he's going to get help from Sue to the sideline. Well, catch NASCAR Nextel Cup Series at California tomorrow night at 7 Eastern on ESPN. And next weekend, it's everyone's last chance to make the chase as the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series moves to ABC with the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. That's next Saturday, 7 Eastern on ABC.
Rude came up limping, and they came out, the trainers came out, and the coaches wanted him off the field. He sent him back. He said, no, sir, I'm not leaving this game. So he's trying to shake that thing off.
Problem now for the Wolfpack. It's another 3rd down. They're 0 for 5 in the first half. They did convert that 1 4th down, but for 3rd down, still a goose egg. 3-man rush now for the Huskers. They bring the blitz. McCune misses. Graziano to the 40. Dives out to the 44-yard line, but that's going to be about a yard short of the first down. Steve Octavian with the tackle.
And that'll bring up, as you say, 4th and short, so they can't take a chance here. They've got to punt it away. Field position dictates that. Late in the game, perhaps, take a shot, but that's still a long couple of yards.
Yeah, it's a long 2 yards. No question about that. This is Terrence Nunn back deep for the Huskers. Zachary Whited back at the 30-yard line to punt this back to Nebraska. Nunn with a fair catch. And now he runs with the ball. They're going to drop a flag on that, aren't they? There it goes.
Good call.
He did not want to call for that fair catch, but he did at the last minute.
I think he forgot he did. Watch this. Here he is down the bottom of your screen. Yep, fair catch. Oh, nope, I got some room with a blocker. At that point, you say, I hope nobody saw me.
You know, only 85,000 people.
And a couple of zebras.
And a few million watching. Now we'll see how Sam Keller operates the hurry-up offense, or if they even elect to go for it with just 22 seconds to go and no timeouts remaining.
Yeah, and Chris Ault knows how big this is now, too. With time, 22 seconds. They don't want to give up anything big.
Keller to the sideline. And that's Nunn, and Nunn gets out of bounds.
And Nunn did it again. He was going to turn it inside and try to go the distance, and the guys on the sideline are yelling, get out of bounds, get out of bounds. So he stopped on a dime, gave 9 cents change, stepped out of bounds, and you got a first down. Watch him now. Good route, drives him off, stops, comes back. Now watch, he'll turn inside. And they yell, get out, and he does.
Keller down the middle to his tight end, Phillips, and that ball is almost intercepted by Justin Jackson. Jackson had this ball right in his hands. He took his eye off
it. Here he is coming over the top. The ball's overthrown. You've got to make that catch. Oh, my gracious.
He had running room, too, to get the ball down at least maybe in field goal range for the Pack.
Oh, my gracious.
Looked like the center may have moved earlier with the snap. Brett Byford with the shotgun snap may have flinched.
All right, just take a knee, get it to the house. Although, look at Bill Callahan. He's looking at that scoreboard. He's looking at that time, and he says 9 seconds. And I've got a strong arm now. What do you think? Let's spread them wide and let them run.
2nd and 15.
And he's letting them run.
And he's going to let it rip to Erickson. And Erickson almost makes the catch at the 20-yard line. Keller threw that ball 65 yards in the air. And it hung up long enough for the time to run out here in the first half.
Good first half for Nevada.
Yeah, Sam Keller in his debut thrown 2 touchdown passes, one to the Wolfpack and one to Marlon Lucky.
When Nebraska finished practice yesterday, everybody left the field. Sam Keller then came back out on the field with a few balls and tried to throw a pass out of the stadium, up over the stands from the field. He didn't do it, but that pass right there was some kind of nice, 65 yards.
Tim Todd is with Coach Callahan. Todd?
Coach, give us your assessment of your quarterback's play here in the first half.
Well, I think we could have helped them a little bit from the bench. We had a lot of shift motion going on. The clock was a little fast. So from our standpoint, we certainly could have helped them with the clock. But I think overall he's settled down. He's getting into a groove somewhat, and he's got a feel for what the coverages are. And now it just is a matter of execution.
Thanks for your time,
You
Coach.
bet.
Dan?
Thank you, Todd. Cornhuskers on top, 21-10. Now let's join John, Craig, and Doug for the Cooper Tires halftime report.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. It is college football, right? So anything can happen. We have learned that over the years, but it's not supposed to happen in week 1, and it's not supposed to be something that has never happened before. Michigan facing Appalachian State in the Big House, and Michigan trailing throughout most of the game. But here in the fourth quarter, Mike Hart goes 54 yards. It looks like to seal the deal.
Michigan 17-2 when Hart runs for over 100 yards. He ends up with 188 on the day, so it was a given, right, Saunders? This was going to be a no-brainer. Michigan comes back to win, right?
But Appalachian State kicker Julian Rouch.
First down, 30 seconds on the clock. You got to run that clock down before you. I know it's a great celebration, a great field goal, but you got to run that clock down.
They left the time on, so Michigan had another chance. Chad Henne goes to Mario Manningham. Great catch, 46 yards, just his 3rd catch, though, of the game. But Jason Gingal has it blocked by Corey Lynch.
And it's going the other way. He didn't make it all the way.
Nobody laid a glove on him, Craig.
This now a little earlier in the day, we had John's national championship team USC against Michigan. Not. Saunders, you got to find somebody else.
Can we rotate that helmet one more time, John?
You're just jinxing. If Saunders picks you in the preseason, you just give up the year. You're done.
Give it up.
I mean, think about what happened today. Never before has a 1AA team beaten a ranked 1A team. Never.
But when was the last time you picked Michigan as number 1?
But you know what it really shows you, like you said earlier, anything can happen. It's college football. These schools, 1AAs and the mid-majors, when they play the big conference schools, they gear up all summer long getting ready for it.
It wasn't a fluke. They out-executed the whole first 3 quarters of the game.
Really, the whole game.
Good news for Lloyd Carr. It wasn't a conference game. Cooper Tires halftime report is coming up.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's conversation with Carlos Watson, September 10th.
Welcome back to ESPN's Back on Campus Weekend, presented on ABC by Dr. Pepper.
Welcome back to college football, presented by Best Buy. We're at halftime at Lincoln, Nebraska, where our score is Nebraska 21, Nevada 10. Dan Fouts and Tim Brand up in the booth. Todd Harris down on the field, and Tim. An interesting first half for Sam Keller in his first game here in Lincoln.
Yeah, no question about it. He's 7 of 16. He does have an interception, and he's got a touchdown, but he never really looked comfortable. You picked up the fact that he was having trouble with the clock. Callahan said it was the sideline problem because they weren't getting the plays in fast enough. But the bottom line is, I don't think Keller really looked that comfortable. If you look at where he was throwing the ball in this West Coast offense, you see underneath, very effective. 2 for 2, 1 for 4 over the middle, and 3 for 5 to the right side. But over 15 yards, nothing. Hasn't completed a pass that deep yet.
Well, the big play in the first half for the Cornhuskers was Grigsby's 42-yard kickoff return after the Amaya interception return for a touchdown for Nevada.
It motivated everybody at Memorial Stadium. The crowd went crazy. The team got fired up, and then they became authoritative. Grigsby just broke that first line, then down the sideline, had that big return. He's got 66 yards in 2 kickoff returns this afternoon. And what essentially happened then, Nebraska ran 9 straight plays and scored. So they have now taken over momentum-wise, and they've been authoritative doing it.
21-10's our score. Big Red on top. This is Adi Kunalik. He's got his last 2 kickoffs out of the back of the end zone. This is high and deep to Wellington. 2 yards deep, and he's going to keep it right there. Well, moments ago, Todd Harris had a chance to talk to Chris Ault. What do you have to say, Todd?
Well, he said basically his offense needs to help out his defense. And what he meant by that, Dan, was he's got to get the offense to go more than just 3 and out. He says our defense has been on the field way too long. He said we knew Nebraska. They're not fooling anybody. He said we knew they were going to pound us with a run, and that's what they've done. He said if we can get our offense to hold on to the ball, less 3 and outs, and drive the ball, keep it longer, so it'll give our defense a break. His bottom line was their defense just got worn down there in the first half with Nebraska's running game.
Thank you, Todd. That's what happens when you do not convert in 6 attempts on 3rd down. Your defense is back on the field too soon. 20-yard line is where Graziano will start. This is Lippincott. Fake to Lippincott. Graziano's got the corner, and Octavian's got him and out of bounds. Steve Octavian with that blazing speed from his linebacker spot.
One of the things you talked about is the depth. Nebraska wore him down, and the depth that Nebraska has and Nevada doesn't. As we look at the Pacific Life game summary, numbers just dominated by Nebraska in that first half. 145 yards rushing. That's what we talked about after the big return. They took over. And if you look down that, the only thing really was penalties. Both teams had too many penalties, but outside of that, Nebraska played a pretty solid first half.
Graziano got 7 yards on that first down play. Now he's going to roll right. Under Trump, out of bounds, he throws it away. Pressure by Barry Turner and Courtney Grigsby off the corner.
Dan, out of those 229 total yards that Nebraska had in the first half, Marlon Lucky had 99 yards rushing and got a pretty good dose of him too.
Well, I thought it was interesting in talking to Keller. He said that he went to Marlon in training camp and said, hey, take it to the house every chance you get. We're going to feed you the ball as much as possible, and that is working this afternoon for the Huskers.
Well, and he's running that way. They gave him the ball 19 times in the first half.
Nickel defense for the Huskers. Zach Bowman in, play clock running down and running out.
By the offense. Penalties 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
See, they're such a manageable 3rd down and short. Now they go back to 3rd and long with their 9th penalty in the ball game.
And it's worth repeating, this was the least penalized team in the WAC. So, I mean, this is out of character. But again, we talk about how young Nevada is. 66 players, freshmen, redshirt freshmen, or sophomores.
Remember, Graziano making his first start here in Lincoln. Not an easy place to play. I know. I got beat up here one afternoon back in 1971. Blitz from the corner. Graziano throws it to the outside and out of bounds. Kevin Cosgrove dialing up the corner blitz that time. Zach Bowman showing that he hasn't lost any speed after those 2 knee operations. Got to the quarterback.
Boy, they come off that right side, too. And look at 15 acting like he's coming in and won. The corner, Bowman, he just turned it loose. That was almost like a misdirection dog.
That's what happens when you have the penalty on 3rd and 3. Now you're 3rd and 8. Now you can bring the blitz again.
And it's all set up by first down where they haven't had success.
White is back for another punt. Grigsby drifts under this high spiral at the 36-yard line. And he goes backwards. Good coverage that time by the Pack. 42-yard punt by Whited and a negative 1 yard on the return for Grigsby.
Well, we talked about after the big punt return how Nebraska was just giving you lots of running ball. And here we go. Here's Marlon Lucky. 19 carries, 99 yards. Finding big holes. The big offensive linemen of Nix and Christensen, Byford, Slauson, and Merkel just opening up big holes. Lucky had a huge half, so they bring in Castile, and the 17-year-old freshman, he turned it loose for 50 yards.
And this is live action. Lucky down the sidelines. You saw the flag fly. Lucky inside the 5. Amaya knocks him down at the 1. But this may come all the way back, Marlon Lucky. Marlon unlucky.
Well, they helped make our point about the running game, but they got to wait till we're back.
I wanted to make sure people didn't think that was another highlight.
It's coming back by penalty.
It's still 1st down.
That may be a small penalty. When you add it up, that was a 64-yard run that's wiped out.
Boy, look at Bill Callahan's face, too. He's dejected. It was a good play, big play, right call at the right time. Here it is. And look at the block outside by Swift, number 87. Locks him out, keeps him away, and Lucky just turns it loose down the sidelines. Amaya finally catches him, but by that time it's too late. The only thing is, there's a penalty.
I think they got Nate Swift on that outside. Did you think that was a penalty?
Good block to me.
You can hear the coaches yelling on the sidelines, hurry up. There's Castile with another carry. The 17-year-old from Texas. Stopped by Matt Hines right in the middle of that packed defense.
This game is still within reach of Nevada score-wise, but you can feel that Nebraska's just taken over power-wise. And so with that said, you know, Lucky's had a big day. Castile's getting a lot of carries now. We still may see Helu and Colbert, two more freshmen, a freshman and a sophomore that they are really high on.
Now this time they put Castile in the fullback spot. Lucky is back at the I-back. 2nd and 8. Castile right up the middle. And he's drags tacklers across the 45-yard line. Mundre Clifton on his back.
But Dan, this is what we were talking about with the depth. Nebraska has it, Nevada doesn't. And it's not a knock on Nevada. It's just that it's a young football team, and they don't have as many guys at Nevada as they do here at Nebraska. And consequently, boy, they're just wearing down now. You can just see it. You can feel it. The floodgates are about to open.
You can also see that Cody Glenn is not seeing much action, giving him a chance to rest that bad hamstring that's been bothering him all summer long. 3rd down and 3. Keller. He's got Swift. Swift got it inside the 25 and out of bounds. 1st down, Nebraska. Justin Jackson pushed it outside. 21 yards on the 3rd and 3 play. That was Keller's best pass of the game, I think, Tim.
Well, here's the ISO, and Terrence Nunn thought he was open on the flats. He could have gone either way, but Swift ran a good pattern around that about 15 yards, just did a little post.
That's really the staple of the West Coast offense, though, is rolling outside like that with 2 choices for the quarterback, the flat or the corner route. Here's Castile pounding inside, showing his versatility, lining up as a fullback.
Yeah, I said post and meant flag, but you're right. That's what it is. It's either the post pattern or the flag pattern, and it's rolling all the time. And again, it goes back to Bill Walsh when he was at Cincinnati as an assistant. And Virgil Carter was very mobile, but didn't have a strong arm, so Walsh invented this for that.
Andy Sand is the fullback this time in front of Lucky. Lucky right up the middle. He's dragged down by Jeremy Engstrom, but the Huskers are just dominating up front. No surprise there.
First week is always fun, isn't it? It's fun to see the teams that are going to be strong, the teams that think they will be and really aren't. How about Michigan going down in flames today?
How about that? With a blocked field goal.
Appalachian State.
That's J.B. Phillips, or as he was born, James Bryan. Here's Lucky. 1st down, 10-yard line, 5-yard line, walking to the end zone, Nebraska touchdown.
And a great block by Todd Peterson, the wide receiver.
He may not get an easier stroll into the end zone than that 17-yarder. 3rd touchdown of the day for number 5.
Here it is, and watch number 17, Peterson, the wide receiver, get a block. Lucky slows down, lets him get the push, and just slides to the outside.
But Paul Pratt was just lost on that play, trying to figure out where Lucky was going. Alex Henry now. And he's dead solid, perfect. Marlon Lucky now with 141 yards rushing, 6.5 yards a tote. Nebraska on top, 28-10. You're watching college football presented by Best Buy. 11:30 to go, 3rd quarter. Nebraska increases their lead thanks to that young man and a dominant performance by the offensive line and wide receivers.
Said the floodgates were about to open, and part of it was depth. But that was just efficiency. I mean, the team executed offensively. Everybody was getting blocks, offensive lines, backs, wide receivers. I'm not convinced still that Todd Peterson's block was illegal, but great block, or Swift rather, great block by Peterson on the touchdown.
You know, Tim, we saw that the Cornhuskers have run 2 passes, one of them complete, one of them incomplete, and it's been mostly rushing plays for the Huskers. 21 unanswered points since the 80-yard interception return by Jonathan Amaya for the Wolfpack. Kunalik, and he drills another one. What a weapon he's going to be, especially when it gets windy around these parts. 4 touchbacks for Adi Kunalik.
Let's take a look at that touchdown again. Now, this is a situation where guys just start throwing their blocks, and they just kind of shield this whole thing out, and Lucky gets outside. Now watch how they hook, and they'll make this lane. Then he gets outside, and now look. I mean, up here is your wide receiver, and Peterson gets a little push block, and Lucky just walks in. Sealed off the corner, opened up the outside, had your wide receiver throw the kick-out block, and done.
Nick Graziano in the pistol offense. Behind him is Brandon Frager. This is Frager. Frager picks up about 4. Larry Asante from his strong safety spot with the tackle. Now, Graziano started with a hot hand, 4 of 6 for 67 yards. Since then, just 1 out of 6 for a negative yard. What's the Huskers doing to stop him?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think Nick Graziano's having a very solid game. But he's getting pressure. They're bringing blitzes. They're bringing backside off the short corner. And he just has no time. So it's as much about protection as it is about Graziano.
They're killing themselves, too, with those penalties, aren't they? That's Arthur King in motion, bottom of the screen. Quick pass to King behind him, incomplete.
And the other thing, and I don't know whether it's because of the pressure, but he has gotten out of rhythm. He definitely was in rhythm and throwing on time early in the ball game. And now, as you can see by that pass thrown behind the receiver, he's lost that rhythm and he's lost that timing.
Yeah, it looked like he had time to throw that time. The pass protection was better, but he threw it behind King, and that would have been good enough for a first down. Something they desperately need. 0 for 7 on 3rd downs this afternoon. This is 3rd and 7. Four-man rush to the sidelines. Kyle Salmons too far, out of bounds.
Salmons was open too. That ball was on Graziano, overthrown. So he threw behind one and over the other.
Boy, and another 3rd and out. And that Nevada defense, they got to be just sucking wind down there.
And as you said, a bad case of the Opers for Graziano is now 0 for his last 8.
Nebraska's run 53 plays, Nevada just 30. And Courtney Grigsby is deep for the Big Red. Whitehead with a good punt. Not too long, short though. Fair catch called by Grigsby. And he makes it at the 46-yard line. 31 yards on the punt. Coming up, we'll take a look at Sam Keller's journey from Tempe, Arizona to Lincoln, Nebraska. We'll get into why he left ASU and what he has to look forward to this season.
This presentation of college football brought to you by Best Buy. Get the knowledge to send them off to college right at Best Buy. Dr. Pepper. If a Division 1A school wins today with a final score of 23, go to drpepper.com to win a free Dr. Pepper. And Volkswagen. When you get into a Volkswagen, it gets into you.
That's the Broyhill Fountain, which was originally built in 1969. Popular place here on campus for friends to meet and relax and cool off. 1st and 10 for Keller. Fake to Lucky. He's going to go deep. And he's got Hardy. Hardy down to the 30-yard line. That was a great read by the wide receiver and the quarterback. They saw the deep coverage. Hardy hooked up over the middle and gave his quarterback a big target.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's made by Franz Hardy because he runs deep. And I want you to watch the end of this play as Keller reads him. All right, C7 at the top of your screen. May have gotten off with a little push off there, but he came back. He read the deep coverage, came back under it, and made the catch.
24 yards on that first down play. And Nebraska will call timeout.
Wide receivers today have done a terrific job for Sam Keller.
Well, let's take a look at the timeline for Sam Keller. In 2004, he got his first start at Arizona State in the Sun Bowl versus Purdue, where he was the MVP, stepping in for Andrew Walter. Threw for 370 yards and 3 touchdowns. Then in 2005, he started the first 7 games of the season for ASU. Threw 20 touchdowns and 9 interceptions before breaking his thumb. 2006, August 18th, named starting quarterback by Dirk Cutter. 1 day later, Cutter changed his mind, named Rudy Carpenter, and then Keller didn't hurt his chances of being named the starting quarterback here in Nebraska. He went 10 for 13 in the spring game and has looked sharp at times today. That's Castile on a first down carry for about 2.
Dan, we were down at ASU shortly after all that transpired, and we sat down with Dirk Cutter, the head coach, and he was trying to tell us how everything took place and how Rudy Carpenter became the starting quarterback. And I'm still not sure I understand it. I'm not sure Dirk Cutter understands it, and it may be why he's not at ASU and now down with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, there was a lot of confusion. There's Lucky. First down. Down inside the 10-yard line. Marlon Lucky continues to roll.
What we do know is that there was a team meeting shortly after Sam Keller was named starting quarterback, and those seniors met with Dirk Cutter, and then the very next day, as you said, Rudy Carpenter was named the starter. So whatever transpired, whatever happened, it's now water under the bridge, but Sam Keller seems to be very happy with the way this thing turned out.
He's grinning from ear to ear right now because Marlon Lucky's got another carry. He's inside the 5-yard line now. And that establishes a new career high for Lucky. 162 yards rushing. And you can see all the time we have left in the ball game, although I would suspect he might get a rest on the bench if they take this one in.
Yeah, and what's really satisfying for all the Nebraska fans is the fact that Lucky missed practice time with minor injuries, and he had a concussion, and they didn't know if he'd be ready for this game. And then Glenn had that foot injury, and as you said, the hamstring. So their 2 top running backs have been injured through most of summer ball.
Here goes Lucky behind Andy Sand. Legs still pushing all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Lucky, 6 foot, 210 pounds. He's an inside-outside guy. They say he's better in space. But if you look at this, he got in that pile and just pushes. Look at this push here. Got the offensive line, keeps the legs driving, pushes it forward. Fatigue a factor for Nevada, strength a factor for Lucky with a lot of talent.
Got in behind the quiet one. Andy Christensen into the end zone. Henry with the extra point. 3 rushing touchdowns for Marlon Lucky, 1 receiving, a new career high, and Nebraska just rolling 35-10 over Nevada. Back in Lincoln, Nebraska, where the Cornhuskers are rolling 35-10. Get ready for a show about 3 guys who aren't trying to reinvent the wheel, because they've already invented it. Cavemen, the new comedy that's about to make prehistory. The series premiere is Tuesday, October 2nd at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Cavemen, check it out. Matty Kunalik has kicked the ball out of the end zone the last 4 times. School record is 6 touchbacks in a game. And this one is number 5.
I think he's going to get a chance to not only tie the record, but maybe beat the record. Still got a 1.5 quarters to go. Boy, they love that. They're giving him a standing ovation.
For a kicker?
Yes, sir.
You know, when they move the kickoff back to the 30-yard line, it has really changed field position. But when you have a leg like Kunelich, it's pretty much negates any return.
Well, you know what? The new college kickoff rule, you really think will make a difference. But if you go back a year and another penalty. But, Dan, if you go back a year and you look at the kickoffs after the penalty, so it was 30. Starting point was only a 5-yard differential. In other words, they were returning it to the 30, and now after they move it back, it was returned to the 27 was the average.
How does that make you feel when you look back to your years, Tim, and see it was on the 40-yard line?
What are you talking about?
I know you were running under a lot of those kicks, too.
I was.
Special teams maven you. Just under 9 minutes to go, third quarter. 10th penalty of the game against the Wolfpack. Courtney Randall is now the tailback behind Graziano. Fake. Graziano to the outside, and again, under pressure and off target.
It's very rare when a team runs a waggle that you see that kind of pressure. But every time Graziano has run that play, he's had somebody right on him. And he just cannot square his shoulders and make the play. All right, here's your fake. He goes the opposite way. They call that the waggle. And look at this. I mean, it's incredible. He's chased every time. Potter or Turner. Potter 98 that time. But, I mean, it's incredible that he never really gets to square up and throw.
7 straight incompletions for Graziano. 2nd and 15. Missed the handoff to Randall. Now he'll have to run. Lowers his head, gets almost all the way to the first down marker. Nick Graziano, 6'1", 200 pounds, and tough.
But you know what? Graziano really took on Zachary Bowman. And Bowman kind of gave it away. He was just diving to make the tackle at his legs. Didn't think a quarterback would try to take a shot like that. And there goes Bowman now off the sidelines.
Yeah, he's battled knee problems last 2 years. You can see the missed handoff right there. Huh?
Yeah, and watch this. This is just a bad tackle effort by number 1 Bowman. He just kind of dives at him right here. Graziano takes him on and bows him over.
3rd and 2. Fake to Frager. Pass to the sidelines, complete. Big play for the Wolfpack to Mike McCoy. 21 yards on the underthrown fade route.
It's good coverage, but watch McCoy adjust at the end of it. He comes back, makes the catch. And McCoy's one of those guys that they're counting on. He's a junior, 190 pounds, and he's another big receiver. That time, for the first time in a long time, Graziano had time to throw.
And the first conversion on 3rd down, 1 of 9 now for the Pack. Vai Taua is the tailback behind Graziano. Time to throw, and a completion. Arthur King with the catch.
When he's got a little time and he sets and he throws off that back foot, he throws with authority and he throws a nice pass. He just hadn't had time to breathe tonight because of all the today because of all the pressure.
You know, the amazing thing is that we go back to his run just before the last 2 pass completions. That 13-yarder was the longest rush of the day for the Wolfpack on a broken play.
They only have 58 yards rushing.
Ball on the 39-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Pack. Hit as he throws, right on target, incomplete. Armando Murillo with the knockdown of the pass intended for Marco Mitchell.
Mitchell's got to make that catch. That ball was well thrown. Again, he was under pressure. Now watch Graziano. He's under pressure, but he still steps up and makes the throw, knowing that he's going to take the hit. Then this ball's got to be caught. It was perfectly thrown. It was there. Murillo had him wrapped, but he's got to make that catch.
Young Graziano will fill that in about 30 years, I guarantee you.
He'll feel it tomorrow.
And in 30 years. 2nd and 10. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage and intercepted. That might be the big guy in the middle. Gibson at 6'3", knocked the ball up in the air and followed it into his hands.
The Husker offense takes over first and 10.
6'3", and Dan, I think his wingspan is like 7 feet. There was just no alley to throw the ball, no passing lane. He clogged it. Watch this. Here he is right here. Whoops. And there he makes the tip and catches it himself. 6'3", or 6'3" and wingspan of, what the heck am I trying to say, partner? He's big. He's big. He made the pick.
And he saw where the ball was and went up and got it. Play clock running down on Keller. And another penalty, delay of game penalty. Although now they're saying Nebraska may have got the timeout called before the flag. Todd, you're with a special guest on the sidelines, I hear.
Well, special guest indeed, but a man with mixed emotions today. He is former All-American from Michigan, Mike Keller, but the father of Sam Keller. And first of all, take us back to that terrible day for Sam when he was told you're no longer the starter at Arizona State. What was the process that was set in motion after that?
Well, it was about a year ago, to the day almost, and we were driving out of town, going home in a celebratory mood because Sam had won the job again. And then I got a call, and Sam sounded panicked, and he just said, "Come back, I need help." And then we started the process of deciding what Sam was going to do, stay at ASU or decide to go. And the first thing I had to do was get a release from ASU. I sent out 10 wires to 10 teams that I know that had always been interested in Sam, and then I started the process of calling friends once the release was come back, that then they can let us know that we can talk to them. The NCAA is really tricky about that. So then, but I knew Bill Callahan. I knew that this was a place that had a gap in their recruiting pipeline, and I knew that also I knew the tradition. I knew everything else. And Sam said, "I want to play at a place where the fans are as passionate about the game as I am."
Did the coaching staff at Arizona State make an attempt to say, "Hey, wait, stay with us, we want to keep you," or was it just, well, that's your decision, move on?
Well, they told me make sure that Sam doesn't miss any classes, and if he'd have gone to one class, then he'd have lost his chance to redshirt, so he'd have been gone.
How's the transition been? He's been here now for years. You pointed out, ran the scout team last year. What is he telling you about his life now in Lincoln?
He loves it here. He's really settled in. His classes are doing well. He's carrying a 3-point since he's been here. The fans have been great. The team is terrific, and he loves it. This is his home.
He's got a lot of plays on his wrist, 175 in all, approximately. Has he told you that the West Coast verbiage has been difficult for him? What has he told you about that?
The nomenclature was the toughest thing, and getting it in on time, but he knows it. He knows the offense, and when the snap is done, he really knows it. He's got great vision downfield. He knows which receiver to go to, and so then it becomes football, and that's what he knows best.
Mike, thanks for your time. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Talking to his dad, he's got 2 pass completions for Sam Keller in a row. This is Lucky. And Lucky gets down close to the 25-yard line.
Number 5.
He doesn't have to be behind that line. Lucky having a huge day. His 4-touchdown marks the first time since 2002 that a Nebraska player has scored 4 touchdowns in a game. And as you mentioned earlier, Dan, that's 166 rushing yards before this series, which is a record. Takes him for his career over 1,000 yards. 56th player to pass 1,000 rushing yards here at Nebraska.
And here he goes again for a couple over the left side.
And they have been crushing yards.
And when Todd was talking to Mike Keller on the sidelines, you heard the crowd roar for a 6-yard pass completion. Well, that 6-yard pass completion was to Niles Paul, the true freshman from Omaha. They expect big things out of that young man. We're going to see quite a few of the youngsters for the Big Red as this game winds down. Castile in the I-back, fake to Castile. Keller to the corner route. And there's a flag down. Trying to get the ball to Terrence Nunn, but he was just mugged by Jonathan Amaya.
Well, that's the experience, because I thought it was on Terrence Nunn. Terrence Nunn pushed off before his break.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tim.
So they do call it on Nunn. Watch this push off right here at the break. Bam! Get him off. Get to the outside. Ball was overthrown, but a good call by the official.
See, I saw the slapping at the hands of Nunn by Amaya. Did not see that first push off.
Now the crowd here doesn't like it. Over 85,000 at Memorial Stadium. It is a sea of red, as they always call it.
Look at that. Is that spectacular? Yeah, there's a few Wolfpack fans that are wearing red today, too. So I'm in the hotel lobby before the game. They're not going to come in here in those blue shirts. The ironic thing for the Wolfpack is that their bitter rival is UNLV, and they wear red. And they'll see them on September 29th. That'll back it up 3rd and 17. Here's Castillo across the 30-yard line.
You know, that play right there, Dan, that's one of those plays. It's a bunch formation on the right side. They basically just say, hey, here it is. Straight ahead, no fair dodging. I mean, they tell you where the ball's going, and they just get behind this blocking. Watch, he's going to run to the right side behind all those red jerseys. It's like the old power toss sweep. Just get a hat on somebody and let them go. Straight ahead, no fair dodging, and here's your long field goal attempt.
And it's a long field goal kicker, Adi Kunalik, 46-yard attempt. West puts it down, and Kunalik drills it. 46 yards. How far would that have gone, Tim?
Kunalik has just won his kicking job. That's it. It's his. All the touchbacks today on the kickoffs. Now this long field goal. Last year's long was 44 yards. They couldn't take any long ones.
Absolutely. Time now to check in with Matt Weiner. Matt?
All right, Dan, here's a very strong nominee for the AT&T ESPN All-America Player of the Week. Appalachian State quarterback Monty Edwards put up 289 yards total offense, threw for 3 touchdowns. More importantly, was a big part of the Mountaineers' upset of Michigan, maybe the biggest ever. Text vote to 87654 on your AT&T wireless telephone to cast your vote.
Thank you, Matt. That field goal kick, really, if they had Kunalik last year, Tim, how many games would they have won?
They would have beaten Texas, I think.
Yep.
And they would have beaten Auburn, definitely. They had to go on 4th and 11 against Auburn in the bowl game because they didn't have a field goal kicker that could kick it that far. It would have been a 45-yard field goal.
I think you're absolutely right. Although Henry has been very solid when he's been called on to kick extra points today, but Kunalik with the big leg will be going for his 6th touchback of the game, which would tie a school record.
And the knock against Bill Callahan from the skeptics has been he cannot win the big games, the marquee games yet. I think he's got the players now in place to do that, and the kicker is the final piece of the puzzle.
Goodbye. See ya on a fly out of the back of the end zone from the 30-yard line.
They love that here. They know what a kicker means to this program.
That ball traveled 74 yards
and in the air. You can see the smile on his face as he ran off the field because the fans here appreciate him.
He is kicking with the wind, a slight wind, about 9 miles an hour at his back. Well, this season's most talked about news shows being called an enchanting fantasy and a delicious dessert. It's TV Guide's favorite news show. It's a modern fairy tale with mystery, romance, and a touch of magic, and a whodunit with a twist. From the director of Men in Black and the Addams Family comes Pushing Daisies. Check it out. First carry of the game for Vai Taua, and it's a good one. Across the 30-yard line, 12 yards on the pickup for the freshman.
I tell you, it's just fun to watch Adi. Here, the strong leg, the fans appreciate him. He's an immigrant from Bosnia. I mean, it's just a great story. Nebraska, 12 touchbacks all last season. They have 6 today, and the fans are going crazy.
1st and 10. Graziano to the outside, and he's got his wide receiver there. Perfect throw to Marco Mitchell on the sideline.
You know, Nevada 2 years ago, 2005, they shared the WAC title. Last year they went to a bowl game again, and Hall of Fame coach Chris Hall came back to restore that glory. And he's got a lot of great players right now, but they're just young. I mean, these guys can play football, but we keep telling you how young they are. Most of the team, freshmen and sophomores, and all the guys they lost are quality guys. And Jeff Rowe is with the Bengals now. But, I mean, this team's got some talent. They're going to do well in the WAC.
Well, the first down for the Pack Taua up the middle, and he's got another first down. He's wrestled down by Philip Dillard. A lot of reserves now in the game for the Cornhuskers.
And for Nevada, too, they're working them in and out. Chris All, one of the all-time great teachers in this game. As you said, Danny's in the Hall of Fame. You don't get there unless you're a great one.
His 23rd season at Nevada. Former quarterback for the Pack. And up the middle, it's Tuau. He's down to the 41-yard line.
Number 34,
Taua is only 5'9½", but he's 225 pounds. He's like a little bowling ball. He's hard to get a hold of. If you look at the history of the WAC, Fresno State, Hawaii, last year Boise State, they've all had success at every level.
Second down and 8. Taua is offset. Time to throw for Graziano. And he misses a target over the middle.
I think he was trying to get the ball, Taua. Couldn't do it. He was covered, so then he went to the outside. He was off balance.
Adam Bishop was the intended receiver, and Adam Bishop should be a big part of this passing game offense as they're trying to take advantage of his athletic ability.
And you see Chris Alt there is teaching. I mean, Graziano comes to the sideline, and he's teaching the guy, telling him to keep his feet on him, square your shoulders. If the first receiver's not there, and I know there's a lot of pressure, you still have to turn and throw on balance.
Another third down for the Wolfpack. Too much Steve Octavian, number 15. Barry Turner forced him out of the pocket, where Octavian cleaned up the quarterback.
And watch the end of this play. Octavian will be there, and Turner comes back and also gets in on it, as you said. He chased him out. There's Turner, takes him down, and Octavian helps clean up.
First sack of the game, remarkably, for the Black Shirts. They've given up just 3 points today. A field goal by Brett Jekyll. Nevada's other 7 points came on the 80-yard interception return by Jonathan Amaya, which was really a wake-up call for the Big Red. Grigsby will watch this ball roll out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. Well, Todd, this is special guest time, huh?
Yeah, no question about it. I'll tell you what, it's not often you find a 6-year veteran usher here at Memorial Stadium that wears a New York Yankee hat, but he is a very special guest. His name, Harlan Chamberlain. His son, Jabba Chamberlain, the most popular man in New York City and maybe not so much in Boston. But Harlan, thanks for joining us. Your son's reaction when he found out after only 1 year in single A ball that he was going to the show and New York Yankees.
Oh, he was very excited and felt it was a blessing and very fortunate to be able to be in that position.
This last week, playing the Boston Red Sox, a little incident transpired. He's now been suspended for 2 games. What did he tell you happened out there?
Well, they just missed. You know, that's all.
What has he told you that it's like to share a locker with the likes of Clemens and Rodriguez and Usina and Pettit?
Oh, it's just he's like a sponge, just soaking in everything that they tell him, advise him, and they've really taken to him, and he's taken to them.
Final question for you. If the Yankees make the playoffs and he's pitching at Yankee Stadium in the World Series and Nebraska has a game at home and they need you to usher, where do your allegiances lie?
I'll go to New York.
All right. Harlan Chamberlain, guys.
I don't think Euclid will tell you that it just got away from him. That ball was coming at his head.
No, and the league told him that he's going to sit out for 2 games. There he is, pitching here in Lincoln for the Huskers. Took the team all the way to the College World Series. Here's Lucky across midfield. Lucky down to the 30-yard line. Paul Pratt takes him down there.
And the thing about that is you don't get tired when you're having a great day. Lucky's not going to say, hey, coach, my legs are getting heavy. I mean, that ball is like he's fired up. The adrenaline is flowing. Watch all the zone blocking up front as they slide to the right. Now watch Lucky read the hole and explode through a very tiny gap. Then he gets into the secondary, and it's all him. Marlon Lucky having a great afternoon.
2 runs on this possession, 22 and 31. He now has 233 yards rushing as Keller's going for more. Andy Sand with the catch. Check that, Mike McNeil, the backup fullback, tight end, redshirt freshman, takes the ball all the way down inside the 5.
And Keller gives the crowd a fist pump. They're going to love this guy. Look at him. He's a cowboy. Steps up and fires. Boy, that ball was perfectly thrown. You cannot throw it any better than that. Hit him right in stride.
Keller's enjoying a no-sack afternoon. He's had time to throw almost on every attempt.
That'll help the percentage, won't it?
Absolutely. 4-yard line's where they mark it. Fake to Castile. Keller in and out of the hands of Thomas Lawson. Thomas, that's a touchdown, my man.
They call him Thumper. Now you know why. Yeah, right through his hands. Look at Thumper, number 36. Wide open in the flat. Here comes the ball. Whoop. See ya. Oh, no. And I could have been on TV. You were on TV.
But not for the right reasons.
I tell you, there's no sacks on a Saturday afternoon. It'll make Saturday night a lot more pleasant, too.
Yeah, this is the angle of the sun, and if we're going to give him a break here, we'll say that the sun got in his eyes. Movement along that offensive line. Brought Mundre Clifton across into the neutral zone.
All right, we'll give Thomas a break and say he was looking into the sun. How about this? 4th possession this quarter for Nebraska, and they've scored in the first 3. 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
You need to tell your receiver when he drops one like that, you could have caught it with a blindfold on. It was that perfect.
I thought you used to say that a little more emphatically. More colorfully.
2nd down and goal. Here's Castile. Castile's in the end zone.
You know, yesterday we were talking to some of the coaches, and they were telling us we may have 2 1,000-yard rushers this year. Certainly is one of their goals. And it is impressive to watch Lucky and then Castile. It's like a sickle and a hammer. And this is the hammer.
Henry drills the extra point. Time now for the ESPNU All-State Standings Review. USC will play Idaho tonight. Boy, Michigan, how about that one, huh? That just jumps off
right
the page.
There is unbelievable. Appalachian State. And it takes them out of the national title hunt right away. First week, done.
Big game tonight, California and Tennessee. UCLA was beating Stanford. Penn State rolled today. Florida State rolling. Nebraska rolling. Boise State looking tough.
And those Golden Domers, it's 16-0 Georgia Tech over Notre Dame right now, and it's in the 3rd quarter.
Todd?
Hey, guys, I had the opportunity to do a game last year in Appalachian State, and I can tell you what, Boone, North Carolina tonight will be a wild scene. But that quarterback, Edwards, is unbelievable. This kid, I don't know how he got away from the likes of North Carolina and Florida State, some of those ACC schools, because this kid is legit. He's fast, he runs like a deer, and he's got a huge arm, and he's so elusive. That was the problem that teams had with him last year, was you just couldn't track him down. He was back there kind of like Vince Young, just running, and then he has the arm to get it downfield.
Thank you, Todd. We'll take your word for it. Chamberlain. Check that. Chris Wellington now will get the ball up the sideline for the Pack and then gets blasted out of bounds.
You know, one other score that I think is getting people's attention, Dan, is the Boston College-Wake Forest game, which is going on right now as well. And Boston College over Wake Forest, the ACC champion, 35-21. That game now late in the 3rd.
There's that score you're talking about, Tim. A lot of time left in that one.
Well, that's now in the fourth quarter, and it's 35-27, so Wake making a comeback.
First and 10 for the Wolfpack. Graziano. He fires, knocked down. Corey McCune had a shot at an interception. If he catches the ball, he might score. They'll catch the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series at California tomorrow night at 7 Eastern on ESPN. And next weekend, it's everyone's last chance to make the chase as NASCAR Nextel Cup Series moves to ABC with the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. That's next Saturday, 7 Eastern on ABC. Shadows starting to cover most of the field here at Memorial Stadium. 2nd and 10 for Graziano. He's got Salmons over the middle. Ball knocked away by Tierre Green.
You know what Bill Callahan has that Nebraska has not had for a while is great speed. I can remember that Keith Jackson and I did that national championship game in 2001, the last one Nebraska was in. And Miami was so much quicker and so much faster than Nebraska. It looked like they were wearing cement cleats. And you said something had to be done. So now Bill Callahan comes in, and of course he changed the culture and went to the West Coast and got away from the run, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But also he's changed his recruiting, and he's got lots of speed everywhere. You can see it in these DBs. They just break to the ball and get there in a hurry.
3rd down and 10. Graziano pump fake. Now he's in trouble again, and he'll throw it away. You know, Tim, one of the guys on offense who has got a lot of speed and potential and big play ability is Maurice Purify, and he's been suspended for this game. He'll be back next week against Wake.
You're right. I mean, they had a lot of issues in the offseason with Maurice Purify. Brandon Jackson went to the NFL. Kenny Wilson, he had a TV fall on him. He wanted to be on TV. Instead, he got a TV on him. But if you look at the timeline with Maurice Purify, and they say he's going to be back, and they say he's still down. I mean, you get your brother shot. I mean, it's just devastating. Yeah. So who knows how he is mentally. But the coaches, they want him back. They've got him back practicing. They're hoping to help him. And, you know, he's going to help this team as well.
This is the 8th punt of the game, and it's a bad one by Whited. Maybe getting tired as that ball dribbles out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. 32 yards for Zachary Whited. Looks like Keller will come out for one more possession. Nebraska on top, running away with this one in their home opener.
Well, Joe Gantz probably wants to get in the game, and he wants some reps at quarterback. But, you know, I think it's a good thing to let Keller go as long as he can. Game conditions with this new offense. His first game back. Said he was as nervous as he was when he was playing Little League ball. He looks sharp now.
Drew Young on the receiving end of that one. Yeah, I think Keller has settled down in this ball game quite a bit, Tim. You know, he got a real message. The whole offense did after he threw the interception. He forced the ball, didn't look off the receiver. They were having trouble getting plays in and getting them run. A lot of delay of game calls or timeouts they had to use. But since that point, he's looked very solid.
And Sam told us yesterday he's a cowboy. You know, he's one of those guys, he likes to squeeze balls in there, and he said he's got to learn and he's got to discipline himself not to do that in this offense.
38 unanswered points by the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska 45, Nevada 10. The ESPN presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
More complete sports coverage. John Schutz, KETV News Watch 7.
Matt Weiner in New York with his Sports Center Minute powered by Vizio and full of upsets. At the U.S. Open, defending champ Maria Sharapova is out in the 3rd round. 18-year-old Agnieszka Radwanska of Poland beat Sharapova in 2 sets. Meanwhile, in Ann Arbor, the number 5 team in the country is essentially out of the national title hunt. Appalachian State 34, Michigan 32. Imagine it.
Husker fans enjoying this one as we start the fourth quarter. Up by 35 points. Sam Keller still at quarterback. Cody Glenn is the tailback. Fake to Glenn. Keller now hits one of his offensive linemen in the back of the head with that pass.
You know, with that cut in, they're talking about Michigan being out of the title hunt. There is no question about it. That loss today takes them clearly out of the title hunt. The best they can do, they can still win their conference, but they are not going to the national championship.
They got a tough one next week at the Big House when the Oregon Ducks come to town.
Have about 80 teams eliminated from that national title hunt today.
Chris Brooks in the game now for the Cornhuskers at wide receiver. There's a quick pass outside to Brooks. And he stumbles around when Uche Anyanwu will make that tackle. I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen Joe Gantz at this point, Tim. I'd bring him in, get him as much playing time as possible. There he is on the sideline.
Yeah, but I think their theory is what we were talking about earlier, Dan. I think they really want Sam Keller to go as long as he can here. I mean, there's still plenty of time. Gantz is going to get his reps. You still have 14 minutes to play. But they want Keller to stay in game conditions, bring him back. He's knocking the rust off from 2 years ago.
Niles Paul shifts out to the bottom of the screen here. Here's Glenn. And good job by the Wolfpack defense pinning him in. Turning him back to the big guys inside.
Glenn, we've talked about had a foot injury that kept him out for a long time. Last year he injured it against A&M, I believe it was. Then he's had that hamstring injury through camp. Tough running back, ran for 370 yards last year, 8 touchdowns, but he's just now starting to get back in the flow.
And this is a 4th down now and 4 for the Cornhuskers. Quick pitch to Glenn, left side. And he's not going to get the first down. Jay Dixon and Joshua Waga stop him and turn the ball over to the Wolfpack.
Give a lot of credit for that, too. The Nevada guys, they know they're going for it on 4th down, and they've got this 45-10 lead, so they say, whoa, 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 they're going to try to run it up on us. I don't believe in that stuff. You got to stop them. I mean, they aren't supposed to stop themselves, and Nevada stepped up and did just that. Nice play by Jay Dixon.
And we were anticipating seeing backup quarterback Colin Kaepernick, and we're going to see him now. He's the redshirt freshman from Turlock, California. 6'6", and as a baseball player in high school, once threw a 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
They say he's elusive in the pocket, and he can run, too. He had a couple big runs. Had a 59-yard run in the scrimmage a couple weeks ago in an option keeper. Did you see that on your play, on your DVD?
No, I skipped that one. That was omitted, I think.
So you got Kaepernick in the ball game now for Nevada, and I venture to say too now, Dan, next time Nebraska comes out, that's when Joe Gantz will get in.
Well, this should be a pass play for Colin Kaepernick. 2nd down, 8 yards to go. Salmons and Wellington at the bottom of the screen for the Pack. Oh, he rifled that one over the middle. Kyle Salmons going to have to go change his gloves after that one. They might have been burned off his hands.
Had to protect himself. Are you kidding me? It was like a dart.
He just threw a 92-mile-an-hour fastball with a football that time.
You need a catcher's mitt for this thing. Watch Salmons, number 5, almost has to protect himself.
Better look down and count some fingers. Make sure he's got all 10 left.
Okay, Coach, my hands are okay. I don't have to come out. They're fine.
Salmon's having a rough day. Just 1 catch for 19 yards. 3rd down and 8 now for the Pack. Not sure about that call. Luke Lippincott with the carry, and very strange call on 3rd down and 8. He loses 3 yards.
Coaches break down everything nowadays, and one of the things they broke down with Nevada is their failure on 1st down out of a pistol. Need 3 yards or less, bringing 2nd and 3rd and long. And boy, they have really had that right.
And the old quarterback, Chris Ault, telling the young quarterback, you got to take a little bit off that pass over the middle. 9th punt of the game for Zachary Whited. Grigsby muffs the ball, picks it up inside his 15. And gets back to the 15.
And you're going to see the new quarterback, Joe Gans, getting ready to come in.
Joe Gans, junior quarterback, will be the quarterback for the Big Red. When we come back, you're watching ESPN College Football on ABC. Back in Lincoln, Nebraska, a happy quarterback, Sam Keller, as his team's up by 35.
He's going to feel pretty good about this day, too. He had 14 of 25, 193 yards. Did throw that pick, wasn't happy about it, but he had a great afternoon. And the thing about it is he's going to look back now and think, okay, I made the right move. He's happy, he's content here, and he fits well in Lincoln. And then you think of Dirk Cutter, the guy that put Rudy Carpenter ahead up at Arizona State. He's now out of there, and he's down with the Jaguars. And, of course, Jacksonville, as you know, made headlines by letting Byron Leftwich go today. So quarterback situation where Dirk goes, and I'm not sure this was the best call for him.
I'm not sure I'd want to be a quarterback in that situation.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Leftwich has a lot of NFL play left in him. There's Cody Glenn left side. Getting a block from Holt on the outside and getting a good gain on 1st down.
I was shocked by that, Dan. Were you shocked by the fact that they let Byron Leftwich go?
Especially during the week, they were talking about him being the guy.
The starter.
And then all of a sudden, he's gone.
There just has to be something more to that.
You know, it can't be money because these teams are making all kinds of money. They can have the salary cap and everything, but that didn't seem to be a problem.
Well, they say that injuries and things like that, and they were losing faith in him, and that, I don't know, it's a strange situation.
Here's Gans on the option. He's going to turn it up and pick up 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. 1st down, give him 10 yards on the carry.
It's gotten to the point, too, Dan, as you know, that in the National Football League, you really have to have 2 quarterbacks. These guys are getting knocked off every season now, and the second quarterback comes in and has to play a big role.
There's no question about that because it's such a long season, and if you expect to get to the playoffs and beyond, you do need 2 quality quarterbacks.
Well, that certainly is the big story today in the NFL is Byron Leftwich.
Cody Glenn with a short gaining. Talking about quality quarterbacks, Tim, we've got one on the phone right now.
Maybe he can add to this. I'm sure he can.
None other than Ron Jaworski, the former Philadelphia Eagle great.
How you doing, Jaws?
Hi, Tim. Hi, Dan. Great to be with you guys. I love the quarterback conversation.
Well, what's the deal there? Byron Leftwich is gone?
I think most people will be surprised by that. I am not. As I look at the NFL now, and Dan, like myself, we're both your prototypical pocket passers. We stood in that pocket to deliver the football. There seems to be an accentuation now on quarterbacks that can extend the play. Byron Leftwich could not do that. He was more of a pocket passer and stayed in the pocket to deliver the football. I think especially with Dirk Cutter coming from the college game now down in Jacksonville, they're looking for that guy in David Carrard that can move around a little bit more.
But Jaws, to go from the starter to being released like that, and especially in a time when you have to have 2 guys.
I agree. I think you need depth at the quarterback position. However, when you look at the situation, when you have a guy that was the starting quarterback, now demoted to the backup quarterback, I think for the chemistry of the football team, Jack Del Rio probably felt that was the best way to go.
Cody Glenn with another carry, Josh. But, you know, you talk about extending the play. The last time I looked at the winning quarterbacks in the Super Bowl were guys like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, your classic prototypical pocket passers, Jaws.
Hey, Dan, I didn't say I agreed with these mobile guys. I said this is what coaches are now looking for. And I believe the most mobile quarterback in the National Football League right now is the guy up in New England in Tom Brady. And to me, mobility is that guy that can move around in the pocket, set his feet, and deliver the football to the playmakers, not the guy that can extend the play by running for 20 yards as a ball carrier. No, I'm on board with you, but there are a lot of coaches now that look for that mobile runaround guy.
Hey, Jaws, I was talking with Carl Peterson. He's here at the game today. He's moonlighting, I guess, looking at some of these Nebraska players. But we're talking about that quarterback situation. Where do you think Leftwich goes, Baltimore or Atlanta?
I think Atlanta might be a really good situation for him. You know, there's no question that Joey Harrington is the starter right there, but they don't have much depth at the quarterback position. And I love Bobby Petrino's system. It is a very quarterback-friendly system. They spread the field, 4 or 5 wide receivers, attack with the deep ball. They attack the sidelines, the perimeter of the defense. I think with a Byron Leftwich, his strong arm, he's a good fit in Atlanta.
Joe Gans with a pass out to Dan Erickson, takes it all the way down inside the 15-yard line. You know, Jaws, you've got a big game coming up a week from Monday, the Ravens and the Bengals. I want to welcome you to the hot seat that is Monday Night Football. I know you're going to do a great job. You already have in the preseason. What do you see in that ball game?
Well, you certainly did heat that seat up, so I'm looking forward to just filling in any way that I can. If I can keep it lukewarm, I'll be happy.
Hey.
but it's a great Monday night opener. You've got one of the best defenses in the National Football League. Rex Ryan's Baltimore Ravens defense. I mean, they come after the quarterback from every angle possible. They change their looks on every single play. They love to raise pace in the quarterback's mind. That quarterback will be Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer is one of the elite quarterbacks in the National Football League, and you know that. I love to use the word, Dan, he can stroke it anywhere on the field. Oh, he can throw the football. It'll be a fun one to watch.
Well, we're looking forward to it. We just saw a fine touchdown run by a sophomore, Major Colbert. First carry of the game, 17 yards, and a touchdown for Nebraska. Josh, thanks for being with us, and good luck throughout the season.
Great to be with you guys. Thank you.
All right, Jaws, I've watched Dan in that seat. I'm watching you in that seat. Hang on tight.
Alex Henry with another extra point for the Cornhuskers. Major Colbert with his first carry and his first touchdown. You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC.
You by Cadillac, introducing the all-new 2008 Cadillac CTS. Allstate, proud sponsors of college football. Are you in good hands? The Home Depot, you can do it. And Miller High Life, good honest beer at a tasty price.
This is the Husker Legacy statue that's just east of Memorial Stadium. The Husky Legacy statue depicts 6 Husker defensive players tackling a Wildcat from Kansas State. Colbert carried 3 times on that drive. That's engineered by Joe Gans. 9 plays, 84 yards, another touchdown for Big Red. Eddie Kunalik will kick it deep. This one into a slight breeze. To the goal line. Wellington. Out to the 25, 26, 27-yard line. .8:24 to go in the ball game. Nebraska in control, 52-10. You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC. Back in Lincoln, where Nebraska leads by 42. Colin Kaepernick in the pistol offense. Behind him is Courtney Randall. Start this drive from the 27-yard line. Randall's got it. Across the 30-yard line. So Monday night on September 10th, it's a doubleheader on ESPN. Ravens and Bengals, as we talked about, Tim, then the Cardinals and 49ers. But part of the big three that Nevada is missing tonight from last year, quarterback Jeff Rowe, backup quarterback now for the Bengals.
Talked about that earlier, and Graziano had some big shoes to step into. You know, if you're a Nevada fan and you watch this today, you've got to be encouraged by the fact that the team never quit. They've got a good nucleus, a lot of good young talent. They're just a little bit over their heads right here with Nebraska.
And they hurt themselves with nerves in that first half with all those penalties.
That's a big step up for them here.
There's a fastball high and outside by Kaepernick, incomplete.
Well, the 1981 Monday Night Football season kicked off for the San Diego Chargers against the Cleveland Browns. Dan Fouts, number 14, to Billy Brooks. 1 of 3 touchdown passes on the night. The running back, Hank Bauer. Chargers won 44-13. Where did go Dan? How much did you weigh there, partner?
About 112 pounds after that. Was a hot one in Cleveland.
You look good.
I tell you, Monday night, nothing like it. And we opened the season with the Browns that evening. Had a good day. Don Coryell, the great coach, would never allow the play clock to run down like that. Always got the play in for me early.
I'm going to tell you, you talk about the West Coast offense. I think it's misnamed at times because guys like Don Coryell, Joe Gibbs, I mean, those Zampese, they were the guys really that had the West Coast offense that went deep. That should have been called the West Coast offense. But then when Walsh designed this for Virgil Carter and went short, somehow they named that the West Coast offense.
Well, it all started with Sid Gilman.
I know.
And he spent a lot of time with Don Coryell when Coryell was at San Diego State.
And Zampese was involved.
Yes, Zampese was our offensive coordinator.
Right.
And Joe Gibbs was as well. You think if we had a better quarterback, we would win more games, gone to the big game.
All those guys were West Coast guys. I'm saying that should have been the West Coast offense. Come on. Now, I think you played here, too, didn't you, partner?
Yeah, 1971.
Oh, look at these numbers. 13 of 25, 118. The number that's not on there, well, there it is. 187. You'd say that. Sometimes the other guys are the only ones open.
That was a great Nebraska team. They won the national title that year.
Well, they won it in 70 and 71. Dan Fouts, one of the all-time greats. It's good to be with you, partner.
Yeah, it's great to be with you, Tim, and having Toddy back and all our crew downstairs. Chris Pfeiffer, our producer, new director, Brad Sheldon, doing a great job today. College football is indeed back, and it's alive and well if you're wearing red.
Just get goosebumps. College football starts.
Every game counts. Just ask the Wolverines. Zachary White at back for another punt. Andre Jones is deep this time for the Cornhuskers. So that is 25. Breaks a tackle. Weaves his way across the 40. Andre Jones all the way out to the 49-yard line. 44-yard punt. He brought it back 24.
Andre Jones, they ought to call him Jingle Joints. Bouncing all around. Great return.
6:42 to go in the ball game. Check out Andre Jones. You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC.
Our Best Buy playbook. Let's take you back. It was 10-7 Nevada when all of a sudden Courtney Grigsby changed the complexion of this game. Here he is, number 2, breaking to the outside, gives the Jingle Joints move, 42 yards on the return. Then Nebraska got authoritative. 9 straight runs they scored, and the whole game changed, and the floodgates open. 52-10 now. Huskers over the Pack.
And that was one of those short kickoffs, trying to kick it high and get coverage. But the execution, a sore point for the Cornhuskers last year, was absolutely perfect on Grigsby's return.
As we get back to action here, how much rehab does this conference need, Dan? I mean, you've had Texas, you've had Oklahoma, but the rest of the conference.
I think you talk divisions. The North Division obviously needs help. And this showing by Nebraska will certainly give them that help. But what I want to know, what puzzles me about the Big 12, is here you've got Bill Callahan's Cornhuskers not going to play in the regular season the Sooners.
Which is a travesty.
It's not right.
Oklahoma not play Nebraska.
They should every year. Cody Glenn is the ball carrier now.
I know they had all that discussion in the conference office about the rival game. That's got to be the rival game. I mean, that's part of football tradition. That's part of the lore of this conference and of the nation, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and all the greats that came out of it. And now, of course, you look at this conference, and if you look at Texas and Oklahoma, I mean, 5 of the last 7 national titles have come out of this conference, but it's been 2 teams. or at least their participation in the title game.
Now Missouri with a 40-34 win today over Illinois. That sets up a real battle between Nebraska and Missouri coming up. 5.5 minutes to go in that one, so we'll give Illinois a shot coming back. So Callahan will go for it on 4th down. Why not? Right at 5 minutes to go in the ball game. Gans to throw. He steps up and fires to the outside. Menelik Holt, and flags come flying.
You know, as long as we're talking big picture here, as this game gets down to 4:47 and is out of hand, another one of the big stories for me today is the fact that Notre Dame struggled so mightily today against Georgia Tech. I mean, 33-3 is a spanking.
Pass interference on number 20 of the defense. It's a spot foul and an automatic first down.
Yeah, Devin Walker with that penalty, but you're right, Tim. I think there's a huge hangover when you lose such a great quarterback and leader like Brady Quinn. Here's the pass interference on Walker, but they're not quite ready to replace Quinn, and they have a brutal schedule coming up this season.
Yeah, they really do, and of course, they didn't announce their starting quarterback. But the bottom line is Clausen is in the game now. He didn't start, but he's in the game now. And Georgia Tech, with 4:40 remaining in that game, leads 33-3 over the Irish. The Golden Domers won't be happy with that.
"12 penalties today against Nevada, and 4 of them have been pass interference calls. The others, a lot of delay of game and false starts. Second and 3 for Gans. Colbert, left side, first down, Nebraska. Well, now here's today's Big 12 Conference update presented by Dr. Pepper. Last year's standings, you can see Nebraska and Missouri battled it out in the Big 12 North.
Well, the bottom line is coaches can spin this any way they want. If the Big 12 is to restore its good name after an 0-14 against ranked opponents from other conferences last year, well, they're going to have to win marquee games.
And now that Keller is here at Nebraska, look out, rest of the conference. As they just are bringing in, this is a freshman, Roy Halou from Danville, California. In fact, went to the same high school as Sam Keller, San Ramon Valley.
This will be 22 straight winning openers, the nation's longest streak for Nebraska. Wow.
Here goes Halou inside the 10-yard line. Devin Walker trying to rip that ball loose. Now, time permitting, stay tuned after the game for the Dell post-game report. John Saunders, Craig James, and Doug Flutie are standing by to bring you all of the day's scores and highlights. That's coming up next. There are some highlights to show in college football today. Probably the worst thing that happened in Nebraska is the injury to Ty Steinkuhler that happened in the first quarter to his right knee. Really the only negative that I've seen. Halou, left side.
Well, Bill Callahan's going to get the win, his opener here, and he knows he's got a talented team. And his son Brian is a coach at UCLA, and right now the Bruins of UCLA really whopping up on Stanford. That game now is 38-17 Bruins, and that game is up at Stanford in Palo Alto.
Jim Harbaugh making his coaching debut on the farm.
But a big weekend, or a big day for both Callahans.
Here's Halou trying the right side this time. Almost breaks through and into the end zone, but he did get enough for a first down.
Brought down by number 26, Adam Lorenzo.
Now you wonder if Bill Callahan will elect to just take a knee here and run out the clock, or will he try to push this one to 59?
you know, I've always had feelings about that. It's not Bill Callahan's responsibility to stop himself. And I know it's a lopsided score, 52-10, and you really don't want him to score here. But, I mean, Nevada's got to stop him.
Now, that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is if you run a play, you could get somebody hurt in a big pileup just like that.
Well, I understand, but, I mean, being a former defensive player, even if we were getting blown out, I wanted to be able to compete.
Now, you are a competitor, and near the conclusion of today's game, we'll select a Chevy player of the game from each team. Chevy will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. We're going to be doing that in just a matter of moments as we tick under 1 minute and 20 seconds to go in the ball game. Dominating performance by Big Red. Fake. Halu's got it. Halu down to the 1-yard line. Good play action fake after the handoff by Gans. That would have really raised a few eyebrows if they throw the ball in the end zone there.
Yeah, but I give Nevada credit here. Nevada's stepping up. The defenders are being competitive themselves. They come up, they make the stop. Make a stop here, and you've done it. Under a minute to play. Yeah, I'd take a knee now. You get 45 seconds left. You're right. No injuries.
It's so tempting, though. You're only a yard away from giving a young freshman the ball and perhaps getting him in the end zone for his first touchdown as a Cornhusker.
They're taking every second of that clock, I can tell you that. It's down to 2. There's your knee. And that'll do it.
I think that's a classy move by Bill Callahan.
It really is. And the black shirts did not allow a touchdown. So big day for Nebraska.
Well, today's Chevy players of the game are Marlon Lucky from Nebraska and Jonathan Amaya of Nevada. In recognition of their efforts, Chevy will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Huge day for Marlon Lucky.
On behalf of the University of Nebraska, thanks for attending today's game. And we'll see you back here September 15th for a 7 p.m. kickoff as Nebraska takes.
Well, Big Red is rolling in Nebraska, Tim Brandt. Totally dominating performance. New quarterback, Sam Keller. A rushing attack. Over 400 yards for the Cornhuskers.
Keller's going to take Nebraska to the next level. Hey, Big 12, Nebraska is back.
Now, once again, our final score, Nebraska 52, Nevada 10. Tune in tonight for Saturday Night Football on ABC. It's the Tennessee Vols and the California Golden Bears at 8 p.m. Eastern. For Tim Brandt and Todd Harris,
And let's go as we wait for more post-game reaction. Let's check out the stats from this football game as Nebraska outscores them 52-10. And look at the rushing yards, 377, 229 of those from Marlon Lucky, who did it on 30 carries today. Cody Glenn got some mop-up duty. Quentin Castile, 18 carries for 71 yards. Major Colbert got some carries. Roy Halu, another newcomer, got some carries. Boy, the Huskers getting it done on the ground today as they out-yardage Nevada 589-182 in this one as they win the opener 52-10. Now let's head to Lincoln. KETV News Watch 7's John Schutz is on the field with reaction from today's game live at Memorial Stadium. John, not a bad way to start out the 07 campaign.
Well, yeah, I guess a lot of fans would probably say that's a little more like it for a Nebraska football team. You know, the big question coming to this, well, there are a lot of questions, but of course the biggest one was how is Sam Keller going to operate in this offense? And, you know, the jury may still be out on that, considering that Nevada may not be the team that they even were last year. But overall, I think you saw that Nebraska's offensive line pretty good, and they've got some weapons they can go to in the backfield, starting with Marlon Lucky. What a day this guy had. It's the 5th best rushing performance in Nebraska football history. He goes over 200 yards. We're going to look at Lucky on the receiving end there. This is Sam Keller, actually. And, you know, overall, a pretty good day. This is our Marlon Lucky video. Lucky rushed for over 200 yards today. He went for 233 and a scoring machine. If there are any questions about Marlon Lucky, I think they may have been answered today. Proved that he is a go-to back. And as we're waiting for some post-game reaction, by the way. We'll go live into the post-game room as soon as we have some of that. But Marlon Lucky, not the only guy today doing the job for Nebraska. Now, let's get back to Sam Keller. We wanted to talk about him. Keller, not a bad day, really. A lot of drops on him. But early on, Keller hitting Lucky for that touchdown. Now, he also did have that pick through the hands of one of the Nevada defenders. So probably not the greatest start that Sam Keller wanted. I have him on the day for 13 of 23 with the 1 interception and the 1 touchdown and 189 yards and a lot of drops. That's Terrence Nunn with the drop. France Hardy, I think, had a couple, and there are a couple of more in there. So the day could have been a lot better for Sam Keller. But I tell you what this guy brings to the offense, Matt. Carl Nix talked about it earlier in the week. There's a swagger with this guy, a confidence, and that's something that I think Nebraska has not had in a quarterback, maybe even going back as far as Tommy Frazier. You know, Eric Crouch won a Heisman Trophy, but he was kind of a quiet confidence with him. Sam Keller, this is a guy who, when he goes into the huddle, I think you know who's in charge. That would be my guess. And that, you know, this is a guy who is giving this team some confidence when he goes out on the field.
Well, and let's not forget, too, that he passed well today. He managed the game, and that's what Bill Callahan has asked him to do. You don't have to win it right now, just manage it. He did that, and don't forget, he was without his biggest receiving threat in Maurice Purify, who was out with a suspension. So it's only going to get better from here on out, you would think.
Yeah, and, you know, the scoreboard here had Nebraska for 212 passing yards. That's not too bad. But when you go for 625, you know, and 416 rushing, you know, it kind of pales in comparison. But, you know, you do what you have to do to win a football game, and running was the way to go today. And, boy, Marlon Lucky was impressive out there. The offensive line doing a great job as well.
And the newcomers as well, chipping in. We saw Niles Paul had a catch today. Quentin Castile had some carries. They're expecting a lot from Castile here, the freshman I-back, who goes about 258, they say, at least in the media guide. He's probably had a few meals since then. But this guy's a guy you don't want to tackle. And so with all these newcomers making names for themselves, you would have to say that the arsenal is full and loaded for the Huskers as they head on here.
Well, you know, what was interesting about Castile, Matt, I'm not sure. I don't think there were any carries by the fullback last year. They lined Quentin Castile up as a fullback along with Marlon Lucky a couple of times today and gave him the call out of that formation. So that gives you some interesting possibilities with him in the backfield, because this guy is a pounder. I mean, he was dragging people with him, and you know, he's kind of surpassed Cody Glenn, who's had some injury problems, as that guy that Nebraska wants to go to as the guy who's just going to pound it at teams. And he proved today that he can do it. And we are waiting again for Coach Bill Callahan to get up to the podium here, and as soon as he does, we're going to send it over to the live post game.